my God, when is this press? When is somebody in this town going to take that Nagy and that Pace, those two morons, when are they going to take them to task?
Good. What an impressive drive indeed for Philadelphia. Bobbling the ball with Shaheen, and he might have lost control, and the Eagles may have it, and they do. The Eagles take over.
What happens when you pop this up to the up guys? These guys aren't used to fielding those things, and Shaheen right there tries to pick it up.
4 a.m., cloudy with a low around 43. Tomorrow, cloudy, high at 49. Gradually becoming partly cloudy tomorrow night, a low 32. Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high near 41. It is 52 at O'Hare, 51 at Midway, 51 in Tinley Park, and 52 along Chicago's lakefront. I'm James Sears on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
Now, Dan Hampton, the Hall of Fame Bears defensive tackle who specialized in making opposing quarterbacks see long white tunnels of light with ghostly lost relatives saying, "Go back, it was just a sack." Ed O.B. Obradovich, the Bears legend who is picking off passes and grinding offensive linemen into powder while you are still wearing tough skins and drinking Tang. Glenn Kozlowski, the one-time Bears receiver who could catch a pass and a dive, then celebrate 4 rows up in the stands with the pretzel vendor. Mark Harmon, a confident, independent young man with skills in communication and teamwork. He's what? He's getting married. Oh, forget that. This is the Chevy Hampton OB Show with Kaz, sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com on the station with the best Bears coverage, 720 WGN Radio.
Hamp, OB, and Kaz indeed, as we take you into a 3-5 Bears team as they fall to the Eagles 22-14.
And 3 hours of misery.
That's one way of putting it, OB. Phone number is 312-981-7200. We're with you till 6 o'clock tonight. As mathematically the Bears are alive, but logically the season is coming to an end way before anyone wanted. They did get it within a 1-score game after being down 19-0, but too little, too late, and the Eagles take this one. Hample, you want to start today with your thoughts?
Well, why not? OB, as we sat there and watched the first half unfold, and we both looked at each other incredulously saying, what in the hell is Nagy doing? Come on.
Nothing. That's what he's doing.
Okay. And you know what? You want a pat on the back. They were down 19-0. They didn't quit and get blown up. But, pat on the backs are for losers. It's okay. No, it's not okay. And it goes back to what happened last week, how you just squandered away a chance to stay alive, stay in this thing. And today's game would have been more tolerable if we would have won. But still, that made today's game a must win. And we see what we see in the first half, that miserable excuse for a game plan, and at some point you're saying, hey, he's starting to kind of get it. Trubisky was under the center almost 80% of the time today, a huge improvement in the efficiency of the offense, but still, what did we have? Minus 10 yards at halftime? It was a beyond embarrassment what we were trying to do on offense with no execution, no blocking, no rhythm, no anything, and the defense was just AWOL. But in the second half, we made a couple of plays. We finally, the half boot and the bomb to Taylor Gabriel gets us in a position where we score. We don't go for 2, which is insanity. But at the end of the day, you got to say, what the hell is this head coach, offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy, thinking when he goes into a game with a game plan like that?
Dan, I've got the answer for you. Stupidity prevails. Folks, you sit here and you watch this game unfold, and you watch Nagy, who was our head coach and obviously our offensive coordinator and the game plan caller. Okay, it's week after week after week, and finally, in their 8th game, the 9th game of the season, we finally see Nagy in the second half throw the ball down the field. My God, what does it take for you to wake up? We have Trubisky up until last week. I think, what was it, one game or two games? Trubisky was 8 for 8 completions behind the line of scrimmage. And then he was 3 of 6 for less than 5 yards. And this is an NFL offense. This is Matt Nagy, who's supposed to be a genius, whom that idiot we got for a general manager brought over here. And, you know, it's enough is enough. You see it right in front of you. You tell me this is game planning in the year 2019 for the Chicago Bears. We got a defense that can, yes, win you a Super Bowl. It can. Have we been playing great this year? Not all that great, but damn good enough to win. And our offense, again, we're not going forward. We're regressing. My God, where's the running game? Where's the passing game? Where is the philosophy? Where is the understanding on offense that you have to score points? Last week, was it 16 times we were in the red zone, and not one time we had a receiver go in the end zone and Trubisky threw it about 7 yards over his head. Not one time do we put a receiver in the end zone to try to score a touchdown, and that would be 6 points. Folks, that's unacceptable. That is beyond unacceptable. And it's week after week after week, and you sit here and you try to find what are the good things that we could find, what can we say? It's all negative stuff. And it's not me doing it, it's not Dan, it's not Mark Harmon, it's not you people listening on the radio. It's Nagy. He's the head coach. He's the one putting the game plans together, sitting on the defense, okay, in the defensive game plan. What are we now, 3-5?
That is correct.
3-5, and you know where we're going? Nowhere, because we haven't even played the tough teams yet. We got to play at Los Angeles Rams, at Green Bay, at Minnesota, at Detroit, and Kansas City's coming in here. And Nagy, we talk about Danny, about Fox, how bad Fox was. Scared to death offense, didn't want to really do anything. This guy, Nagy, really takes the cake. Really takes the cake. And who do we have to thank for that? Pace. And there's more I could say, but I'm not. I'm fried, folks. I'm just sick and tired. For 34 years doing this business, for 34 years and watching stupidity prevail. I'll say it again, watching stupidity prevail. That's what you saw today, the week before, the week before, the year before, the year before. This is Chicago, for God's sakes. The footing and the foundation of the National Football League. Get rid of some of these imbeciles. Dan, I've had it.
All right, one last thing. And folks, and it's more than just certain things like the game plan. All game long, we stood around and let the clock go down to almost 0 before the snap. Every single down that we possessed the ball, which we would have had maybe a possession or two more to get back in the game, but we don't have any urgency. We sit around in a lethargic manner, just letting the clock burn while we're down 19-0, then 19-7, then 19-14, and we never had a sense of urgency. At some point, it has to be hung on you-know-who's bald head.
You know what, Danny? That was a great point you made. We're sitting there watching it, and we got our punter. Every time he's punting, he's waiting, taking it down to the final seconds. Kick the ball. How about a no huddle? How about getting the offense up, play after play? Get on the line of scrimmage. Call a play on the line of scrimmage. Sense of urgency. You're 3-4 going into this game. You need everyone, and this is a team that we can beat.
It's an elimination game.
Where was the sense of urgency, Nagy? That would be one of my first questions. So, where's the sense of urgency? Why isn't your team up on the line ready to go offensively? Play after play after play, and you're sitting in the huddle, and you're waiting for you to send the play in, and then, again, Dan, not to talk in circles here, but how do you sit there and let a punter stand there, and obviously he was told, wait till the last second, wait till it all goes down, and then with a few seconds ago, kick the ball. My God, Danny, what you said, all that time, how would you love to have that right now?
All
And
those
guess what?
seconds, right? And we know that Shaheen botched the kickoff at the end, and he fumbled. We got it. But you would have gave yourself a chance. You wouldn't have been in it where you had 28 seconds or whatever at the end of the game. You know, when you were taking possession. What if you would have had 4 minutes? You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have kicked that little squib. They would have kicked it into the end zone. All these things matter. A little means a lot. And you know what? Our little head coach is coaching like a little small man.
So the last drive of the game, the Eagles kept the ball for over 8 minutes, 8 minutes and 14 seconds, 16 plays, 69 yards. They end up getting 3 to make it a 22-14 game. And then, of course, they kicked off and Shaheen fumbled it. But that's where, come on, man, you got to get off the field.
You're exactly right. And I know OB's trying to be positive about the defense, and they're now without Eddie Goldman. But at some point, you got to make a play. You got to make a stop. You got to get the ball back. Like against the Raiders, they take it 93 yards for a touchdown to put us away. You got to make a play. You got to make a stand. Nobody made a stand. They drive it down, kick a field goal, basically to ice the game.
Well, here you go. You go to this is a team you can beat, and you go into Philadelphia, and you play the first half of football, folks. The first half of football. I think there was like, I don't know, a minute to go, somewhere's around there. Our total offense was 1 yard.
That was impressive.
1 yard, folks. That's running and passing the football and almost 2 quarters of football. There's only 4 quarters in a game. And you basically got 1 yard? My God, when is this press? When is somebody in this town going to take that Nagy and that Pace, those 2 morons, when are they going to take them to task?
The numbers, if you look at it.
You know what? Again, it's 34 years since we won the world championship. 34! And they're stumbling, bumbling, and fumbling around like a bunch of nincompoops.
I don't think you're going to get the change that you want right now, OB, right? You don't expect that to happen, do you?
Oh, no. You think Pace is going to let Nagy pull Trubisky out of there with that bombastic, stupid draft that he did in picking Trubisky? They're not going to bench him.
Right, and then in the offseason, even if this goes, let's say the Bears finish 6-10, which is what they're on pace to do. Do you think you're going to see change with Ryan Pace and or Matt Nagy? I don't think so, in my opinion.
It's happened before, where ownership has stepped in and fired the general manager and the head coach. Let me tell you something. The people that we're talking to right now, you guys, you're wonderful, and you do know the game of football. And it comes a time when I'm tired of the damn excuses. I'm tired of next week we'll be there. Next month, it's next year in the draft. We're looking for the draft. What are you looking for? We're going to do this. We're going to do it. You haven't done a damn thing but spin around like a dumb, bumbling, stupid top flipping around in the room. And that's a fact. Yes, it gets, Danny, I'm telling you, I'm so damn aggravated and sitting there watching this go on game after game after game, and nobody takes this guy Nagy. How can you play the 8th game of a 16-game season, the first half, and you basically gain 1 yard? Are you kidding me?
Hampo?
All I know is I was getting texts. OB and I aren't getting paid enough to watch this.
312-981-7200 is the phone number. Eagles beat the Bears 22-14. The Bears are 3-5.
We haven't even got to the tough part of the schedule yet, buddy. It's all in the second half.
That's true, too. As the Lions are coming in next week, then you're at the Rams and et cetera. You still got to play the Cowboys. You got to go to Green Bay. You got to play Kansas City. It's not getting any easier from here. You're right, OB. But what do they do from here that can be part of the conversation today? Worth you till 6 o'clock. 312-981-7200. Hampton OB with Kaz, sponsored by Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com.
Praying is out of the question.
Well, I don't know if that should be out of the question. Praying,
it's out of the question. The Lord's got other things to do.
Well, of course, but that doesn't mean you can't. You might not answer. So put that in there. All right, quick timeout. 720 WG.
I'm gonna be free or die. Harriet is a triumphant story of a real American hero.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do to free as many slaves as possible.
You'll be ready. She had superhuman strength and purpose. Nothing stopped her. Nothing stopped her.
Harriet, everybody is looking for you.
I made it this far on my own. Don't you tell me what I can't do.
Harriet, her time is now. Rated PG-13.
Here's Jordan Howard up the middle. Touchdown. Made it look easy that time.
Now that one was disgusting. I mean, that one, Hampo.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, the defense is not without some culpability in this. To let the Eagles basically just drag them up and down the field the opening two drives. Think about this. I think the first two drives was a 10-play, 60-something yard, and they stalled them out down by the red zone and forced a field goal. And the next one was 12 plays. I mean,
the final drive was disgusting. You had third and long multiple times. You couldn't get off the field.
Exactly. But, you got to give the Eagles a little credit. That's what they do. They're a little paper cut offense. They're best in the league on third and short. And they just kept finding ways to, keep it going and move the sticks. But, before we get too far down, Nagy letting the clock burn all day, never going hurry up. When you're down 19-0, the clock is your enemy. You don't want this game to be over. You want to keep it and prolong it as long as you can. You got to go hurry up. You can't be wasting time. Precious seconds add up. We never had a sense of urgency. The clock beat us.
Danny, that was such a great point you made. And I tell you what, again, waiting for the guy, the punter, he's just standing there waiting for them to get down the last seconds to punt it. It was all that way through. I got a little text here, folks, for a friend of mine, Mike Benedersky, and he's talking, I assume, about our offense. I believe the medical term is do not resuscitate.
That's about it. So when you look at the numbers, by the way, it's a miracle that the Bears were actually in a position, if they could have gotten off the field and not allowed the Eagles' last drive to win the game, because you would have had the football back, you would have been down 5. The Eagles had 26 first downs. The Bears had 10. The Bears had 164 yards total. The Eagles had 373. Total plays, OB. You love that stat. 78 for Philly, 42 for the Bears. I mean, that's incredible. 36 more plays. That's insane that you were even in the game. Time of possession, 40 minutes and 18 seconds. That's over 2/3 of the game. Philly had the ball. The Bears had it for 19:42, which, by the way, to Ham's point, the fact they were sitting at it speaks to how atrocious the offense was. They were sitting at it and didn't even keep it a third of the game.
Listen, Nagy can't run and he can't hide, okay? And I'll tell you what's going to happen. He's at the press conference after the game. He's probably going to get a little testy, and then it'll get worse tomorrow. Okay? This guy can't take criticism. But where does this fall upon? How in the hell do you have your 8th game of a 16-game schedule, and you basically score, 1 yard of offense, 10 yards of offense the first half? There's no excuse for this, guys. And it's impossible. It's almost impossible to do what we do offensively with this team.
Now, one other thing. We're down 19-0. It's so important to understand big picture. I was trying to explain it to little Dan. That's 19. You need to go for 2. You and I were talking about it on your live broadcast. But Nagy did not even think about going for 2. See, 8 and 8 is 16. Then all you need is a field goal at the end. You're thinking about, okay, the game is now compressed. It's not a 60 minutes anymore. It's whatever it was, 25-minute game. You only have so many chances, so many opportunities. Maximize what you have. He didn't even think about going for 2. You know why? Because he knows his offense is so inefficient.
I couldn't believe it. You're down. It's 19-6. You clearly are not going to have some offensive explosion. Here you have a chance to go for 2. I understand it's unlikely, but or whatever. You feel like it's a 25% chance, but take a shot at it. You're not punting the game away there. You're still in range. So I just didn't get it at all.
It was, from top to bottom, it was botched.
Let's take a quick time. I will come on back here and we'll get your phone calls. We'll bring Kaz on in and we'll do the Muller game-changing moment as well, which is sponsored by the Muller Auto Group of family-owned dealerships in Highland Park, Gurney and Hoffman Estates. Muller Automotive, you will not be disappointed. 22-14, Eagles over the Bears. 10 seconds, Hample. Give me the Muller game-changing moment, would you?
It's Taylor Gabriel for the 55-yard bomb.
That was awesome. That was
got us back in it.
It did, and it made it interesting, but it didn't work out in the end. News coming up, then your calls, Kaz as well. Hampton will be with Kaz till 6 on 720 WG.
Now first down at the 28-yard line, and here is Jordan Howard gets an opening, and Jordan Howard gets a first down. 12-yard pickup there, and the fake handoff, and Wentz throws, and the pass is caught at the 40. Wentz to the air, and it's incomplete, thrown out of bounds. Aguilar, rookie from Penn State, is in the lineup for the first time on 4th down and 2. Wentz. The pass is caught to his favorite receiver, Zach Ertz. The tight end was open. Down and 20. Miles Sanders back in the game. Good protection. And on the screen pass, it's Sanders. Miles Sanders has good blocking. And Sanders still on his feet, close to the first down. Using a lot of the clock. And here is Saunders. First down. Moore spinning his way down to the... Second and goal. And here is Wentz. Can't find the first target, and it's batted down. Now Miles Sanders checks back in, 3rd and goal. Wentz, and the pocket collapses around him, and down he goes. Wentz is down at the 10-yard line. Jake Elliott will attempt a 28-yard field goal, and the kick is good. Trubisky with an empty backfield and a lot of receivers on first down from the 25. Nowhere to go, and he's sacked back at the 22-yard line.
2nd down and 4. Good things are going to happen for you.
Wentz with the designed rollout. Pass is caught, and a 2nd down and inches after that penalty. And Wentz will throw on 2nd down and inches, and it looks like forward progress to Howard will be enough for the first down.
Shooting ourselves in the foot.
Miles Sanders to the bottom of your picture, and this pass is thrown to Ertz, and he'll 3rd down and 1. And Wentz, and wide open for the first down is Zach Ertz, and Zach Ertz breaks a tackle. 2nd down and 7 as we start the second quarter. And Wentz nowhere to go and dives. Miles Sanders gets it on the quick, and he is put down by Prince Amukamara immediately. So it'll be another 28-yard field goal attempt for Elliott, who hit his first and makes this as well. Down and 8 for the Bears. And Trubisky can't get away. Got hit, and it's going to be Derek Barnett. From the 42, Wentz pass, and he threads the needle, and the pass is caught by Zach Ertz. Boy, is... And they jump again, and it looks like it'll be against the Bears again.
Zone infraction. Defense, number 99.
It's Aaron Lynch, penalty. Another 5-yard penalty. And Wentz's throw, and it's overthrown.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 97.
Ball is gone. You take a couple of steps.
From the 25. Wentz with play action, drills it, and it's caught by Zach Ertz, and he's in for the touchdown. No. Yes, touchdown. Thought he was down by at the 1. Is aboard, and the extra point is no good. Third down and 10, and Trubisky has no chance. The offensive line pushed back by the Eagles. And unable to make the play is Aguilar, second leading receiver coming into this game. 3 wide receivers line up to the left for Trubisky on 2nd down and 4. Now he's going to carry it, and he'll get the first down and slides past the 20-yard line. Flag goes down. That's the first down for the Bears today, and it comes
personal
with
foul.
48 seconds.
Toughness defense, number 42.
Trubisky being rushed, And the pass is incomplete. Tariq Cohen downfield. Deflection. Rodney McLeod defending on the play.
Hired his own trainer. They just don't want to do anything dumb.
Howard with a great gain and a first down. And crosses the 40, close to the 45-yard line. They make good use of their first possession of the third quarter. This pass will be caught, and it'll be a first down. It'll be a season's high yardage-wise for Zach Ertz. And there is Wentz, and the pass is caught. Ertz in stride. You can
foul. Defense, late hit out of bounds, number 39. That penalty's half the distance to the goal.
Of the 18 completions have been to the tight ends. And here is Jordan Howard up the middle, touchdown! Made it look easy that time. Second down and 8. Trubisky on play action. And he's going to go deep. And there's a receiver there. And he's got Taylor Gabriel. Down territory here. Third down and goal. And here is Montgomery driving in. Touchdown. The Bears finally score.
It's all I want in your head. And clearly, Dick, it paid off.
They're back in the game. And on first down, pass caught by Zach Ertz. Wentz caught. Carson Wentz pass, and it's incomplete.
He turn out and still get onto your coverage. Amazing job.
Tariq Cohen back there, as was Patterson, but it's Cohen trying to split the defense. Here's Cohen at the 30-yard line, and a good return as he crosses the 35. And Trubisky's pass, and it's tipped away, incomplete. As replacement lines up as a receiver for Wentz. Pocket collapses, and Wentz goes down. Is sacked at the 12-yard line.
Fulfilling his nickname of the Green Goblin.
All right, Jen, here is Trubisky, and the pass is going to be caught by Gabriel. First and 10 at the 43 of the Eagles. Low snap. Trubisky has some time, completes the pass up the middle of Montgomery out of the backfield, and David Montgomery gets to the 13-yard line. And the pitch to Tariq Cohen. Cohen to the 5, gets a first down. Does he get in? On the review, number 29, Tariq Cohen was down by contact short of the end zone.
Number 73 has reported as
Heavy, I'm going to stay big. We're going to run the ball.
You may not get this close again. And here's Montgomery leaping over for the touchdown. And so the Bears, with Montgomery scoring 2 touchdowns here in the second half. First and 10. Here's Wentz with the pass, and it is caught by Goddard. Second down and 10, and here is Jordan Howard. And tell you what, this is an inspired Bears defense. And here's Wentz getting some pressure, hit as he goes, and the ball is knocked away. And it looked like a catch was made by Alshon Jeffrey, but Kyle Fuller had other ideas and swiped it away as well when they won the NFL championship in 1960. Handoff is to David Montgomery with a great run and a first down. Montgomery carrying defenders, and down at 9. And play action for Trubisky, gets rid of it, and the pass is broken up. It was intended for Adam Shaheen, and it... Play action, and the throw, and a great catch is made by Alshon Jeffrey.
Eagles love to get extra guys out, but you've got to keep somebody in to protect the edges.
And on the screen pass, here is Miles Sanders. He gets the first down. 2 big plays by the Eagles. The third down and 3. And the quick pass is going to be out to Ertz. And Zach Ertz has a first down. Third down and 9. And here's Wentz with a screen pass to Goddard. Goddard gets a first down. A big play for the Philadelphia Eagles. Third down and 5. And they give it to Saunders. And the kick by Jake Elliott is good. What an impressive drive indeed for Philadelphia. Bobbling the ball with Shaheen. and he might have lost control, and the Eagles may have it, and they do. The Eagles take over.
What happens when you pop this up to the guys? These guys aren't used to fielding those things, and Shaheen right there tries to pick it up.
What an impressive drive indeed for Philadelphia. Bobbling the ball with Shaheen, and he might have lost control, and the Eagles may have it, and they do. The Eagles take over.
WGN Sports, the Bears lose to the Eagles in Philly, 14-22. The Bulls take on the Pacers at 4. The Blackhawks visit Anaheim tonight. The pregame with Chris Bowden at 6:30. The face-off at 7 with John Weideman and Troy Murray on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. No major issues out there on the roads today for WGN traffic. For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFFIX Chicago. The forecast from the WGN Chicago Weather Center. This afternoon, mostly sunny early, becoming cloudy, high 52. Tonight, a 40% chance of rain, mainly before 4 a.m., cloudy, low of 43. Tomorrow, cloudy, high 49, gradually becoming partly cloudy tomorrow night, a low 32. And Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high near 41. It is 52 at O'Hare, 53 at Midway, 53 in Frankfurt, and 53 degrees along Chicago's lakefront. I'm James Sears on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
If you don't raise the bar, nobody's going to try to give you anything extra. You got to demand it.
Back to the Chevy Hampton OV Show with Cars, sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Right now on WGN Radio.
So OB's been cracking on the Bears offense early in the game, which of course is incredibly fair. When the Eagles went up 12-0 at that point, with 6 minutes roughly left in the second quarter, the Eagles had gained 172 yards. They had 12 first downs. They were up 12-0. The Bears offense at that point had -2 yards and 0 first downs. So it was an incredibly slow start. I don't know, Hampton, what were you...
So we need to give out participation ribbons because we didn't quit. We didn't curl up in a ball and go away. Right? Is that what you're getting to?
I'm not. No.
No. You know, hey, how do you get in a hole like that? See, that's the whole thing. The offense has got to understand. Yeah, the defense was not perfect. Hey, I'm telling you what, we got a little pressure on Wentz. He was not that MVP type of quarterback today, and a lot of it, you know, some good coverage. A lot of it, a little pressure, but they were beatable. They were beatable. I mean, this was a winnable game if we didn't squander an opportunity to have one of the most magnificent comebacks of recent memory. And again, you know, not going for 2, wasting all the time in the clock, you know, on the clock by just never going hurry up, never getting into any type of a quick rhythm, burning the clock on punch, all this idiocy. You hang that on Mr. Arena.
Hey, let me just jump in here. You know, folks, sometimes stats are, you know, they say stats are for the loser. Some of them are astonishing. You know, again, where are we at? What league are we playing in? And how long has this guy been here as a head coach and this great quarterback we got?
Yeah, Mr. You know what? Tell me how Mr. Handwarmers did today.
Let me tell you something. Net yards rushing, 62 yards. 62 yards. Net yards passing, 102 yards, folks. That's for 4 quarters of football, the 8th game in the National Football League. 164 yards of total offense. You can't, in your wildest dreams, make this stuff up. How embarrassing is this? And why? Again, Danny, you go back to this coach. This guy thinks he's the genius of all geniuses. Nothing in the offseason, nothing in training camp, nothing in the exhibition season. And so far after games, 8 games, what are we looking at? Nothing. And it's unfortunate because I know these kids are out there playing their hearts out. And you got a guy leading this team, making up the offensive game plan that doesn't know his backside from his front side. And it's quite obvious.
Let's bring in the
idiot.
Let's bring in the Cos man, Glenn Kozlowski. Hamp will be in Cos till 6 on 720 WGN. Cos, you know, OB's talking about the total yards passing, 102. 53 of those came on one play to Taylor Gabriel. What did you see from Cosland?
Well, for starters, I don't even want to talk about this game because when you have 9 yards at halftime, you deserve to lose. let's just call it what it is. But let's start back where it all began. Ryan Pace. Look at his first 2 drafts. His inability to draft impact players in the first round has hurt this team. Remember, Hamp, you and I and Ed, I think it was year 2, we were talking about the Bears and how they had these great options for quarterbacks. And, of course, this rookie, not so very smart GM that was a former defensive player. And those guys aren't very smart. I mean, just trust me, everybody knows that. Guy named John Lynch comes in and he basically fleeces Ryan Pace. Where are they at now, the 49ers today? Where are they at?
They're right.
They're 7-0 and they're undefeated. And where are the Bears right now? Oh, we gave up a bunch of draft choices to get a kid that had played 12 games in his entire college career. So it starts with Ryan Pace. It ends with Ryan Pace. You know, Nagy, he's a byproduct of Ryan Pace. This is who he brought in. So let's focus there because, quite frankly, the only thing he got lucky on was the Raiders. Basically, John Gruden had been out of the game for so long that he didn't recognize what Khalil Mack had to bring to the table, and that's the one thing probably that he's done exceptionally well. So let's start there, and it starts and ends there, actually. You know, the game itself, look, you got 1 first down in the first half because of a penalty. You're going to lose the game. I don't care who you are. You're going to lose the game, and the defense couldn't get off the field when it mattered most. But they played their guts out that first half and kept it in a game. And then, of course, you know, there were no adjustments on the defensive side to start the third quarter, and they looked like a team or a defense that had given up, and they had an easy score on them. Hey, Glenn. So it starts there. Ed. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. What you saw that first half, we've seen this film before. We've seen how many times does it go to every game? We had the ball last week for 38 minutes. 38 minutes in a 60-minute game, and we only put up 16 points. Every game, if we do win it, it comes down to the last play of the game or the last drive of a game. That's if we can win the game. This has been going on last year. It's going on this year, and there's no improvement. You got a defense that I'll tell you what, and let me say this about our defense. I know they're all going to say, yeah, we're sticking together. We love each other. We hug. We're all brothers. We
got each other's back.
I got your back. You got my back. Everybody's got everybody's back. Liars.
Well, they don't, because they're looking at a quarterback that shouldn't be out on the field. Now, the tough part is... That's for sure. Let's just call it what it is. Who is their quarterback? So here's a defense. Here's a team. You saw Anthony Miller throw his helmet down in the third quarter, and it shatters all over the sideline. And Tony Medlin, bless his heart, is working his tail off to fix the helmet. But that tells you that you've lost a lot of your players because you continue to run out a guy that has no business being a starter in the National Football League. And you could see it, and you see it every week. And unfortunately, fortunately, he played a really good second half because he threw a couple of passes. But at crunch time again, when they had the momentum, they had a 3-and-out, and he overthrew a guy. And why are you throwing it to Adam Shaheen? Again, I don't get it. I don't get the matchups. You could say what you want about the Eagles in that last drive. What they did do is they put their best players by movements against the weakest players on our defense, and that's how they were able to stay on the field.
Well, the guy making the calls, Glenn, is Nagy.
Yeah, the tight ends were able to get open with mismatches, and that's why they were able to continue to move down the field.
Well, the play to Shaheen, too, should have been picked off, and that was just a terribly designed play. But to what you're saying, Kaz, I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this. Look, they jumped offsides 4 times today.
In the first half by the defensive line.
Right. And they picked up personal fouls on plays where guys were 2-3 yards out of bounds. There's the discipline, horrendous.
That happens because as you get frustrated as a player because you don't feel like there's any hope. You're thinking, hey, unless we turn the ball over or get a pick and score a touchdown, and the defense, that's hard to do. Anybody will tell you that. That's not how you score points in the NFL. It's great when you can on defense, but it's hard to do. So you call it lack of discipline. I call it frustration, and guys that are starting to say, what are we doing? And why are we doing it? Right? I mean, that's human nature. We all want to win. Everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to do that. But frustration at some point sets in, and you act like a fool. It happens.
The bottom line is this: 4 quarters of football. Okay, and there's all kinds of different offensive sets and schemes that are out there that if you're behind by 10 points and so much time is left, this is the kind of offense we're going to run against our opponent. We're going to do all this, okay? But for heaven's sakes, in 4 quarters, I can't get over it. 164 yards at this state, at this time, at this level of football. That's not even the word acceptable. It doesn't even come into play. Now you're looking at how dumb is dumb. And I mean that from what I know about this game.
You don't have to say any more. I mean, 9 yards at halftime.
Okay, but again, we're talking about the team. How can it not lose heart? How can it not lose its composure and conviction?
It's going to get worse, big
But wait a minute. Hey, we're on the goal line. What is it? 1st and goal, and we put in our 5'5" inch running back to run a dive play, and he gets bitch slapped off the line of scrimmage. Number 2, the coach not going for 2 when he needed to. When the point was 19, you need to get the 8 and 8.
Stupidity.
It's stupid. Now, what about this? Your safety, your all-pro safety gets run over in the hole on 3rd down and gives up a 1st down. What about this? As you just said, your defensive line's jumping off sides, giving them 2nd and 5 or 1st and 5 4 different times in the first half. So now what we're talking about, and we don't take any joy in this, folks, but we're starting to see the foundation crumble, the things that you count on players to do correctly time and time and time again. Now you're seeing these parts of the game pop up and crumble right in front of our eyes.
The thing is, this is the 8th game. Okay, we're going backwards, guys. We're not advancing from quarter to quarter, half to half, game to game. We're not going forward in the passing game. We're not going backwards in the running game. Why? Take a look at the statistics. I mean, my God, where do you go from here? What do you do? If this keeps going on and he keeps playing Trubisky and we keep putting up these kinds of numbers, when we got 8 more games to go and we keep doing this, well, are we going to lose the Bear fans? Is George McCaskey going to let that happen? Because if it is, it's going to go from week to week to week. Us losing, but losing terribly. You think George McCaskey will let this go on? That's a question I got asked.
How about this?
I think if this team collapses this year and it falls apart, like it looks like, because look, they have injuries. They don't. Who do you bring in to play quarterback? What are you going to do? Who's your playmakers? Actually, you probably do have some playmakers, but you don't have a guy that can pull the trigger and throw it to the open receivers. I mean, a lot of a blitz is coming. Dan, an NFL quarterback reads a blitz and he gets rid of the ball quickly. Our guy catches the ball and has no clue that the blitz is coming, and he gives up a sack. It's embarrassing.
And then panics. Okay, but think about this. Just think about this. Talking about losing the team. Think how fortunate they were. They weren't at home today. Could you imagine the boo birds at Soldier Field? There's not an earplug that you could find that could, stop the boos after that offense would have played like that at home. Could you imagine? I mean, it would have been, that somebody would have set fire to the stadium. It would have been that bad.
You mean the 200 fans left in the stadium?
Well, whoever's left.
You know what I just said? I'll tell you what. Listen, I don't see anything of these guys after this game today of reversing this downfall we're in. And especially the teams we're going to play. And what I just mentioned, ownership's going to step in here sooner or later. They can't let this go on from week to week to week. And by the way, paying guys $23.5 million, $12 million, $10 million, $8 million, $7 million to play 16 games, and we run for 64 yards and pass for 102 yards, and they're not open for criticism. The coaching, they're not open for criticism. Give me a break.
Well, it's embarrassing, but I'm telling you guys, it starts with the general manager, and he's made these decisions, and he has put the Bears in this position, and he's got to take responsibility for
There's
it.
no
We'll see
question
where it all
about it.
goes, but I just don't see, unless somebody has a magic wand that you wave over everything. Part of this is just lack of talent on offense. It just is.
But see, it's not lack of talent. It's a lack of preparation and game plan. And it reminds me, an old wise man once told me, Nagy's the type of guy that studies everything and learns nothing.
When we come back here, just to Kaz's point, we can just do a quick refresher on who and where Ryan Pace is drafted when you go all the way back to 2015. It's not a
We're going to get to the calls, too.
And we'll get to your calls as well. Hampton will be with Kaz with you till 6 o'clock on 720 WGN.
For 34 years and watching stupidity prevail. I'll say it again, watching stupidity prevail. That's what you saw today, the week before, the week before, the year before, the year before. This is Chicago, for God's sakes. The footing and the foundation of the National Football League. Get rid of some of these imbeciles.
That's the first time we've turned around. It'll be that quick. I like it. Good work, Rick Gieser and company. Hamp will be in Kaz with you till 6 o'clock. Sponsored by Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. ChevyDriveChicago.com. All right.
Trust me, the Chevy runs a lot smoother than this offense ever dreams about.
All right, let me just, to Kaz's point, he's hammering on Ryan Pace, and rightfully so when you look back at the drafts. 2015, his first draft, Hampo. Kevin White, not with the team. The only guy that's left with the team from 2005 is Eddie Goldman. Hronis Kersu, Jeremy Langford, Adrian Amos, Tayu Favaluja, all gone. You go to 2016. Okay, now we're getting a little closer. Leonard Floyd. He'd be a great third-round pick. He was your first-round pick. Cody Whitehair was a nice pick in the second round.
But you moved up to get Leonard, too.
Okay. Jonathan Bullard, gone. Nick Kwiatkowski, backup. Deion Bush, inactive today. DeAndre Hall, nowhere. Jordan Howard played for the Eagles today. And Braverman and DeAndre Houston Carson. Okay. You're 2017. Mitchell Trubisky, that's an F. Adam Shaheen, F. Eddie Jackson, great pick. Tariq Cohn, good pick. Jordan Morgan, never heard from him. And now let's go 2018. Roquan Smith. I've never seen a player, well, I don't say that, but going in the wrong direction.
Yep.
James Daniels was a good pick. Anthony Miller looked great last year, pretty much not available at all this year, or very rarely. Joel Iwe-Bunye, rare. Bilal Nichols has made some plays. Kylie Fitz-Javon Wims is for a 7th-round pick. Okay. But there's just there. And then last year you didn't have a first-round pick because you traded for Khalil Mack, which made sense. But David Montgomery, Riley Ridley, Duke Shelley, you could have drafted Gardner Minshew with the 4th and or 6th-round pick, and you'd be looking like a genius right now. You didn't do it. Kareth White, Steven Denmark. Okay, nothing. So it's not good.
Essentially,
that's what it all starts with. And Dan, I'm sorry for interrupting. I'll let you finish. But just the thought is, great GMs have a plan, and the plan is that you bring in your managers, right? If you're just talking in business in general, and then your managers, which are your head coach and offensive coordinators, then hire quality, talented people and let them do their job. And we've done none of those things, and that starts with the GM.
It is truly hard to believe that this offense could be this bad at this point and stage in the game, unless you kind of look at the facts. You got an inexperienced quarterback that needs every snap. And we when the fans, were calling in saying, oh, yeah, you're making a big deal out of the preseason. If there's ever been a player on planet Earth that needs preseason work, it's this kid, hand warmers. And you know what? Year after year now, he doesn't not only not play in the preseason, they almost laugh at people, that expect him to work hard in training camp, in the successive weeks of the preseason, and work on things that you can build on once the season starts. And again, back to the 2-point conversion. A lot of that is because they have no confidence in the quarterback being able to make that split-second decision and get the ball delivered to whoever might be open. Now, back to your draft analysis, and we're talking about Roquan Smith going backwards. There's a reason why the Eagles were so good on third down. Well, they were targeting their two tight ends, Zach Ertz and Goddard. They were targeted 16 times. They come up with 13 catches for 140 yards and 1 touchdown by Zach Ertz. But that falls on the linebackers having to be able to cover them. And obviously they were missing in action.
And it absolutely killed them on the last drive.
Yep.
Killed them.
When we needed it, it wasn't there.
And they made it. They did. Listen, they had real coordinators and offensive coaches that figured out how to create those bad mismatches and clearly take advantage, because every team has that one guy or a starter that's down, and you try to get, listen, why are the Patriots successful? They just attack your weakness and they take away your strength, and they let the chips fall where they may, but they do it really well week to week. And they draft. They're always drafting late, yet they seem to find these guys out of nowhere, and they play their system, their style, and they win. So it really is about management. It's about your general manager and who he brings in to lead the team, and that's what we're seeing now.
Kazi, before you go, give us your most positive Glenn Kozlowski moment that you thought, wow, that was impressive today.
Glenn, whatever you say, I'm not going to believe you.
I figured I'd put you on the spot.
Whatever you say, I don't believe a word.
I was looking, searching. I was trying to think, okay, what's something positive that I can say? And the only thing I can say is just some of my dear friends, Dan Hughes and some of the guys that I work with, were out in Philadelphia there cheering for the Bears. That was the only positive I could come out with, is that, hey, a lot of people went out to Philly today to watch them play. They let them down. But, I mean, there just wasn't one. When you get 9 yards on offense in the first half and you're only down 12-0, I suppose that's a positive, because that means your defense did just enough to keep you in the game. But I mean, it was 9 yards, and part of it, the one first down was a penalty, I think, on roughing the passer, right?
Well, you better believe Mr. Arena is going to be barking in the post game about, we never quit, we never gave up.
Of course.
You're down 19-0, and you came back though. You got to. Hey, I didn't expect them to get back in the game, but they did. Hey, congratulations on that. Get the participation ribbon out, Kaz.
Yeah, and you get a green. I think it's a green ribbon that you win. So probably you also have everybody line up, and you get orange slices and a juice bar. Big deal. I mean, come on, it's the NFL. It's the pros. There wasn't a positive, Mark. I wish I could find one. I just can't. And even across the special teams, everything there was nothing that they did well today, and this was a complete group failure.
The negative,
meaning coaches, players, everybody together had a little hand in this, and it starts with how they practice and how they approach things.
Actually, the interstates are all looking good right now across the area. For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app, approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFFIX Chicago. The forecast from the WGN Chicago Weather Center: mostly sunny early this afternoon, then becoming cloudy, a high 52. Tonight, 40% chance of rain, mainly before 4. Cloudy with a low around 43. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high near 49. Gradually becoming partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low 32. Tuesday, mostly sunny, high 41. It is 52 at O'Hare, 53 at Midway, 53 in Oak Lawn, and 52 degrees on Chicago's lakefront. I'm James Sears on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
Man up about it.
Hey, put the ether can down for a second.
It's the Chevy Hampton OB Show with Kaz, and it's brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com on 720 WGN Radio.
1 hour down, 2 to go. 4 o'clock hour, Hamp OB and Kaz with you till 6 o'clock. We are sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. The Bears are 3-5 as they lose to the Eagles 22-14. Yes, OB, we will get to the calls in 1 second, but you, my friend, need to grade the Bears secondary. How was the coverage today? It's sponsored by PPG Paints. For the best coverage, Chicagoland Painters pick PPG.
B.
Who's calling you?
I'll say it's a B. Mukamara gets an A, but the rest of them a C. And, Whence was able to, go for 239 yards, so they weren't super.
The first touchdown, Zach Ertz cracked into Kyle Fuller. And Fuller, maybe it was the second touchdown. Regardless, on one of the touchdown plays today, as my mind's not all clear, he cracked into his face. Fuller's complaining to the referee, can't get the call. I thought Kyle Fuller had an argument right there. I mean...
No. Tight end has the opportunity to release and fight away from him, and that was just, he was a lot bigger.
You can't impede his route.
So you're going good physical football? Yeah. All right. I mean, right to the face mask, but okay. 312-981-7200. Mike and Rockford, thanks for your patience. Welcome to WGN. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Here we go again, right? Listen, I grew up in Chicago area and had to move out to the armpit of Illinois up in Rockford here. But I'm so sick and tired of being surrounded by these Packer fans up here, and I do a lot of sales work in southern Wisconsin. It's disgusting. Since Brett Favre came in the league, since 1993, they've owned our ass for a long time. Excuse me, I didn't mean to swear, but they've owned us. And, I'm tired of it, guys. I'm tired of being we got to get there, we don't. But, guys, let me tell you something. What they say, you got to kill a weed, you got to get the roots, right? And we're all talking about Ryan Pace. Well, why don't we go back and look at the last good GM we had, which was Vinicius? Why is it that the Bears ownership, it's the ownership, guys. I mean, can they please sell the team to somebody who cares? Because I look at the two other teams in Chicago. When the Ricketts took over from the Tribune, what did they do? They got the Cubs to, granted, we won one World Series in 108 years, but they made the postseason, I think, 5 or 6 seasons. They won the division, I think, 5 times with Ricketts. What he did, he brought in, the guys that they needed to bring in to win a championship. Look at Rocky Wirtz. He took over after his father passed away. He put the games back on TV for free. He brought the players in here, Kane and Tays, and all the guys that it took to win a championship, because you need a change. You guys, Hampton, you guys all know. You've been part of this family with the Bears. It's the McCaskies have no idea what they're doing. We hear all these rumors when they get rid of a coach or a GM. Well, we're going to bring in some football experts. We're going to pay them. We're going to pay a company to tell us what we need to do. This is ridiculous. You look at the Green Bay Packers. It makes me sick to my stomach. George Halas founded the league, and we got to have this as a joke because they're better than the Bears are now, and we're the laughing stock of Illinois.
All right, Mike, we got it. I appreciate the phone call, and you're spot on a bunch of stuff that you just said. The biggest thing that I would personally disagree with, the Bears owners, the McCaskies, they want to win. There's no lack of wanting. They just don't know what they're doing, and they've proven it time and time and time again. And that's how I see it.
Well, you think about this, and it's a dysfunction, and it's a lack of experience. Now, think about Pace. He was a scout, and so George McCaskey thinks he's going to, strike gold and reach into the box and pull out the golden goose. Well, Pace was not in a position where he was competent enough, especially look at his first-round picks. They're just abysmal. Then Pace selects Nagy. Nagy, what did he? He was a play caller in Kansas City for the last 6 games of the season. The last 6 games. So he was totally inexperienced as a play caller and now as a head coach. And what do? They draft an inexperienced, incapable quarterback that only started 13 games, who was completely unprepared for the NFL. And in going above that, George, he sold tickets. He became the president because his brother was so incompetent. And then, it just goes on and on and on. And experience, the old saying about experience is after you make mistakes, you learn the right way. Well, these guys had not been in the position to make those mistakes and learn from it. So now we are the brunt of the mistakes.
That was a great summation right there. And you just thinking about the way you just put it, Ham, you would think that when you're drafting a quarterback, maybe we should get somebody with a lot of experience there who could perhaps cover up some of our our inexperience. And there's this guy over here by the name of Deshaun Watson who's got a ton of experience winning huge games and putting up tremendous numbers. But no, we're going to go with another inexperienced guy as the quarterback who we think we can assemble his parts into a Cadillac.
An inexperienced president picks an inexperienced GM who picks an inexperienced coach who picks an inexperienced quarterback. What could go wrong? And think about this, and it's a real comfort zone up in Hallis Hall, folks. And that's part of the reason why there was no panic when now they're 3-4 with a must-win elimination game this week in Philadelphia. They want to act like, oh, no, everything's fine and everything's cool and, we're on to Philly. And all I know about a comfort zone is it's a real lovely place, but nothing ever grows there.
All right, let me just jump in here a second, okay? Fine with the McCaskies and Pace, who's the general manager, but we got to deal with the problem that's at hand, and that's Nagy.
This is the Hampton OB Show with Cause, sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer and ChevyDriveChicago.com on 720 WGN.
Hampo, I think you'll know I think I know what you're going to say to my question here. OB, you were asking when's the last time a team gained 9 yards in the first half, which is what the Bears did today against the Eagles. 9 yards of total offense in the first half. So Elias Sports, ESPN Stats and Info tweeted out that according to Elias Sports, that is their fewest in a first half in the last 40 years. I'm working on finding out the last time a team did it, but it was historically bad. Is the bottom line. So my question is, Hamp,
40 years.
40 years. Hamp, you played with some quarterbacks that weren't very good, and you've also been a backer at least a bunch of times for Jay Cutler. Could Jay Cutler come out here next week and play better than Mitchell Trubisky? Right now,
I've said this all year. If we had Jay Cutler at the start of the season playing quarterback, would probably be 6-2, 7-1, something like that. Let's get to the callers.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It's not even close.
312,
not even close.
312-981-7200. John in Fox Lake, thank you for your patience, my friend. Go ahead.
I mean, a few points.
Hi. What I want to say is, why are we kidding ourselves here? We have a short window, and I'm not talking for this year. I'm talking for the next maybe 2 or 3 years here on defense, okay?
Bingo.
And the thing about it is, we know what we see when we see it with this head coach. This guy is learning on the fly. He's got mismanagement of the clock. He doesn't know how to call the right plays when he needs to. As far as I'm concerned, this guy has lost the players because of the output that they're giving. So if I was Pace, I would let the season ride out, and maybe with 4 games left in the season, give this guy his walking papers, put Pagano in there as the interim coach, and see where it falls for next year. Because as far as I'm concerned, and let's not kid ourselves, when you look at it, and I'm just average Joe fan, and Ed and Dan, you can chime into this, this guy is not head coach material, period. I'm sorry. I'm calling it like I see it.
Hey,
Thank
John,
you guys.
John, I'm going to jump in here and ask a question to you. Here, I'll ask you guys this question. Let's just say that you're George McCaskey, and Ryan Pace comes to you and says, hey, I want to make a move with the head coach. What do you say to him after I just gave you the money to give him a 5-year contract? In year 2, you want me to eat 3 years of a head coach?
They've done it before. They've done it
3 years?
I think they have. They've done that before.
I don't know if they've ever eaten 3 years. That's a whole.
Think if you look it up, you'll see.
I mean, they can afford it, obviously, but that's a bunch of dough.
Well, and again, it goes back to the inexperience of Ryan Pace giving a 5-year contract to a coach that's never been a head coach. He was a play caller for 6 games, and then he botches a playoff loss, being up 21-0 or whatever at the half, 20-0, and losing the game. So, look, that's not the way the Bears roll. They're going to ride it out. Now, they fired Lovey with 1 year left. They fired Fox with 1 year left. We got 3 more with this guy.
Yeah, they're not.
Well, here,
no one's going anywhere.
Let me just chime in on that a little bit. Whatever ownership there's in the NFL, when you've got a chance, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, of losing the fan base, and of all towns, this town, if things go south this back half of the season, I mean really bad, I'm going to tell you something. They're going to have to make a move. They're going to have to get rid of Nagy. You can't let this go on game after game after game, and then you're going to bring this guy back again next year to do what? I don't think so. I don't think. If it goes bad, Nagy's gone. He's not going to be here, and I'll guess somehow pace is going to be involved. I'm not sure which way or what way, or I don't know how much George McCaskey's going to step in or what he's going to do. But I'm going to tell you, Pace, there's going to be hell to pay for Pace also for making such a stupid mistake.
George McCaskey and company were feeling so relieved last year that they had gotten past Fox, gotten past Trestman, had an exciting year, had a team on the come, right?
But the reality of it, it wasn't.
That's what we're seeing right now. But the whole concept that the fan base is always going to be there, Opie. A Bear fan is a Bear fan is a Bear fan.
Don't bet on it. I wouldn't stake your life on it, my friend.
I mean, sure.
Things are changing in this country. People are finding other things to do. Believe me. And the love of the Bears, has it been there? But I tell you what, if you're going to continue to shove this kid, Trubisky, down everybody's throat when everybody knows the kid cannot play at this level, and a coach that is, my God, what kind of a game plan does this guy have from week to week to week? He can't make the quarterback better. He can't make the receivers better. He can't make our offense better. We struggle to score a touchdown a game. That's a fact.
We do. We absolutely do. All right, we'll take calls after 5:30. News next, 720 WG. Aaron Rodgers and who have we had? Let's get Chip in Glenview on 720 WGN. Go ahead, Chip.
Hey, guys, I promise I'm not even going to get angry anymore. This is no longer about Trubisky. This is about the draft record of one GM, Ryan Pace, and the fact you let him hire the new head coach who was not qualified to be a head coach in the NFL. My question for George McCaskey, who I know wants to win, he's not going to sell the team, so I wish people would stop talking about that. My question for him is, how are you going to sleep on this and then walk into your office tomorrow and not have it in your mind that you're going to make a coaching change? Because you have to make a coaching change. Firing the GM's one thing. I would want him to do that too, but let's be real. The fact you are not going to, if you don't walk in there tomorrow and say, look, our fans are demanding this, it isn't working, we've got to make a coaching change. We're going to name an interim coach. You're going to name anybody coach. This guy had his chance. I told you after that first Packer game he coached in, he was in over his head. They lost that game because of his coaching. That was his rookie year. First game of the year, he lost the game because he didn't run Jordan Howard and run out the clock. You have to make a coaching change. This is the NFL. When you look this bad, you have to make a coaching change. This isn't one game. This has been going on.
All right, Chip, we got you. I don't want to snip you, but I think you were going to go on for another 3 days. We got it. You want a coaching change. Look, George McCaskey's head's got to be spinning. The dude won the NFL head coach of the year last year. They were 12-4. In their minds, they were a field.
How about Andy Reid? How about McVay? With the Rams, how about the rest of those coaches? Let's get real about this, will you?
But they're not going to make a coaching change. There's no way they're thinking that way.
They signed him to a 5-year deal. Tell you what, they're not changing.
The only way where you might see it,
if
everything goes down under after today and the rest of it, the last half of the season, if it all goes down, you can't keep Nagy here. You kidding me? The city of Chicago? These fans they'll go crazy.
I mean,
he would have to go.
But okay, to Ham's point, Obi, they signed him to a 5-year deal. The players this week could not stop saying nice things about him, probably because he is so sweet to them.
What the hell do you think the players are going to say about the head coach? Boy, you're really stupid. You don't know what you're doing. Bang, you're gone. Come on, Mark. So they're going to say he's a great coach. He's a great guy. He's a players guy, players coach. He's this, he's that. No, he's not. No, he's not.
I don't think he's lost the locker room, though.
I tell you what, if he hasn't lost it, it's damn close to it, my friend.
Now, that would be interesting. If they did lose the locker room, it would probably because, that everyone's staring around, hey, when are you going to make a move with the quarterback? That's one way you would lose it.
Here's the bottom line. You've lost 4 straight games. 4. And I looked at the odds to win the Super Bowl preseason. New England, and I think it was New Orleans were the 2 favorites at 5-1, and we were right there, 6-1 with a bunch of other teams, Kansas City, a few others. and now we lose 4 games, and we're just at the halfway mark of the season. Think about that. That's incomprehensible to see how bad this thing has been handled, and it all starts and ends in his lap.
Let's go to the next caller.
All right, let's see. Tom, be quick here on the Northwest side. Welcome to WGN. Go ahead.
Hi, fellas. Always a pleasure hearing you even though in bad circumstances.
What's your best point, Tom? Go ahead.
Jordan Howard was a big mistake. All these coaches since Levy Smith have been a mistake. And you could see with all the stuff that's happened, 40 minutes that Philadelphia had the ball, we only had the ball for 19 minutes.
Yep.
Okay?
Tom, good points here. Jordan Howard today, 19 carries, 82 yards. He ran hard. He got in the end zone.
It was almost predictable, though. You know, and come on, let's be real. We all, nobody here in this room was happy when we heard about Jordan Howard not being re-signed. And at the end of the day, you know, you can't get better by getting rid of good players. He's a good player. We could have used that draft pick on somebody else.
Right. I mean, to give him up for a 6th-round pick, I didn't get it. If you were going to get a 3rd-rounder, okay. 6th-round pick. I mean, come on. Make Sundays your official night to tour the city, SOB.
I told you, Pace is stupid. I told you that.
Yes, you did.
Well, the reason he wasn't signed is because Nagy said he didn't fit the offense.
Right. That's the other thing.
That's the whole thing.
Which is another thing.
He didn't fit it.
Why? Let me finish. I'll change it from stupid to dumb and dumber.
Well, I just don't get, you're a coach. You take the talent that you're given, you make the best out of it. Shouldn't have to fit in a system perfectly. And where has he earned the right where this is my great system that I should get the players that fit in it? He hasn't earned that.
Wait a minute.
The great coaches turn the system into what the players can operate in.
From last year to this year, everything was roses, peaches, sugar. We're going to win. It's
Ice
Super
cream.
Bowl. It's what everything.
Yep.
We're the laugh of the league is what we are.
The biggest disappointment in the NFL right now. Make Sundays your official night to tour the city. Watch Chicago's best at 10 p.m. Stick around for the latest in shopping, entertainment, and events on See Chicago at 10:30 p.m. on WGN TV News Next. And Hoagie, this was one the Bears obviously needed. They didn't get it. And Hampton, I talked about this earlier. When it happened, I was sitting with him, and then we brought it up on the air as well. And you mentioned to me in a text, the Bears make it a 19-6 game. You go for 2, you get another touchdown. Now you got a field goal. You could tie the game. They don't do it. I know that this confused you as well, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, these going for 2 situations can be confusing. That's why most coaches have a chart. Most charts I know of, though, have you going for 2 in that situation when you're down 13 to make it an 11-point game. Because an 11-point game means touchdown, 2.8 plus a field goal makes it 11. So it does increase your win probability. And as we ended up seeing, if the Bears did score a second touchdown, and had they gone for 2 on that one and gotten it, then when they got the ball at the end, all they would have needed was a field goal. Now this, to be honest, ended up not mattering because Adam Shaheen muffed the ball at the end of the game, and they didn't even get the ball. And we're also assuming the Bears are going to convert to 2-point conversions, which, given their offense and where it's at right now, probably is a stretch anyway. Matt Nagy's explanation after the game was simply that it was too early. It was the middle of the third quarter. Most of these coaches, for whatever reason, don't start thinking about these things until the fourth quarter instead of the third. I thought, given how the Bears' offense was moving the football, you got to start thinking about it immediately. But whatever, that's the explanation from the head coach.
I mean, this is basic stuff in my mind. You shouldn't need a mathematician or a statistics major from Harvard in there to figure out, you know what? I mean, come on. You're a head coach of the National Football League. If you don't understand it, then get a guy on the sidelines that does. What you also wanted to talk about the third down throw to Adam Shaheen, where it was a weird play-action play. Trubisky didn't have much of a shot. That ball should have really been picked off. I've never seen a quarterback, by the way, throw more balls that should have been picked off. It's incredible. But what was your take on that particular play?
Yeah, so I guess in hindsight, Trubisky said, because I asked him about the specific play, I was confused by it. Defense isn't really going to bite on a play action on 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 8 or whatever it was.
and then to just throw it short to Adam Shaheen. And actually, guys, what was an advantageous matchup for him, he's huge against a much smaller corner in Avonte Maddox, but getting the ball at the line of scrimmage,
right,
it isn't really going to accomplish anything when you're trying to get a first down. So basically what Trubisky ended up saying there is he actually should have moved himself into the shotgun instead of under center. And then he was looking for Taylor Gabriel downfield. Gabriel was covered, and he thought Adam Shaheen was open. Obviously, he wasn't. So, again, what we're seeing here is a situation where basically I think this was on the quarterback not making the right decisions. However, I don't know. Aren't we learning here in these last few weeks that I think Nagy needs to take more and more of these decisions away from his quarterback and just put him in situations where all he's got to think about is making simple reads and not having to diagnose an entire defense?
Well, it would obviously be more fruitful. But let's just talk for a second about the complete ineptitude of the offense. Is essentially, I don't know what it was, 5 yards total offense in the first half.
9.
And the continual, insistence on throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Jim Swanson, the defensive coordinator, has got to be laughing inside, thinking, I'm going cover one and playing man, and I know this quarterback is too scared to throw the ball down the field. Then all we do is drop off, come up, and Brad, the running back or receiver on a speed screen or whoever catches that ball behind the line of scrimmage, and then it's 2nd and 10, and then 3rd and 9. So at some point, OB and I are just bewildered why we have no sense of urgency about trying to make defenses scared by throwing the ball down the field. And I know, okay, your quarterback's bad, he can't throw it. But, hey, at least you have a chance. At least in the third quarter, he threw the ball down the field on a bootleg, by the way, a little bootleg to the right, and threw back to Taylor Gabriel for 53 yards. So at some point, where in the hell is this game plan that we're able to kind of be dominant on offense rather than subservient? This is all on Nagy.
Let me tell you something. Let me just jump in here a second. No. Listen, Nagy is the guy. He's the head coach. He's the offensive coordinator. He's the one calling the plays. Now, what happens, usually your quality control guys go back the last 3 games of who you're going to play, and they put all the stats, running and passing, from whatever yard line, from whatever down and distance it is. He has all the information, and he puts it right in front of him. He was the coach of the year last year. Trubisky's his quarterback. We won 12 games last year. We're going forward. There are no excuses for Trubisky. There's no excuses for Nagy. None for these guys to come up with such a pathetic game plan, and I refuse to hear any excuse or even accept any kind of an excuse. Not at this time, not in this game. This is bad. This is really bad, guys. When you gotta make special things happen, special runs, plays, because you got a quarterback that is inept and is dumb and is inaccurate thrower. Come on, guys.
Go at it, Adam.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not excuses, it's just explanations. I mean, you can't move a football when you keep putting yourselves behind the chains. First drive of the game, first down, they pick up 4 yards. Okay, great, you're going somewhere. Then second down, -3 yards, just like that. Second drive of the game, Trubisky sacked on the first play. And I think that was the play where he had Allen Robinson open and just didn't make the throw for whatever reason, and he was sacked. The next drive after that, you got an offensive holding penalty on the first play of the drive. You go to the next drive after that, you have Adam Shaheen, false start, first play of the drive. I mean, it was just complete ineptitude across the board to start all of these drives, and you put them behind the chains, and you've already seen a million times with this offense that if they're not on schedule, the quarterback can't bail you out of it. So it was just a complete disaster offensively. I've never seen anything like it. covering the Bears. I was trying to think of any other comparable game where they were so inept in the first half. And all I could think about was a game a few years ago where Jimmy Clausen started at Seattle and the Bears lost 26-0. But even in that game, they managed 109 yards in the first half and 6 first downs. So even that was better than this performance today. And it was just a hole they couldn't dig out of.
You don't think there's any changes coming, do you? Mainly with the quarterback is what I'm asking, I guess.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Adam, because I'll tell you what, if he admitted that, if Nagy made that move, and let's say he didn't talk to Pace about it, but I'm sure he would if that move was ever made, that would be, you talk about all hell going loose. If they set him and they put in Chase Daniel for what they gave up and all the moves they made to get this kid, oh, my God, how would you answer that after whatever game that would be if they did that? It would get real ugly.
And for the record, by the way, and I know that people don't want to hear it per se, but he did play better in the second half. There
were spots. Yeah. There were spots. And again, I mean, they didn't completely curl up in a ball. They came back, scored 2 touchdowns. But here's the thing. There was no fumbles, no interceptions in the entire ball game. But that being said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And, sometimes fate, favors you being courageous. I think he's just so scared the kid will throw a bad ball that now we're throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Everybody in the league knows it. It's just, clamp down.
Well, gentlemen, I respect you both, but I tell you, you're talking about the second half. There was nothing respectable out there, okay? Because when you go in 4 quarters of football today in the 8th damn game in the National Football League against a 4-4 team, and you compile 164 yards total running and passing, and you lose the game because the other team scored more points than you, it's bad, guys. There's no way you could put cream, a cherry on top, or whatever. It's bad. It was bad last week, the week before, and it was super bad today because why? We were playing a 4-4 team, and this is a team that we could have taken down. And what did we put up? 9 total yards the first half and 164 total for 4 quarters. I'm not giving those guys any slack at all. You kidding me? It was pathetic.
Adam, before you go, can you talk about if you learned anything about the last drive where the Eagles kept the ball for 8+ minutes and, won the game? If you get off the field, they I don't know if the Bears are going down to score, but I would have loved to have seen Trubisky and company get an opportunity to do it.
Yeah, right. I mean, and you're thinking at that point, because I don't think it's a coincidence, guys, the defense started playing better once the offense started moving the football. It was starting to get ugly there defensively, too. But, it's that complementary football. All of a sudden, the offense starts moving the ball. Defense starts playing better. So you're thinking, all right, there's still 8:48 left in the game when the Bears punted the ball away. You're definitely thinking they're going to get it back again. But the Bears just couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. And I got to say, Doug Peterson just punked Chuck Pagano on those 3rd down plays throughout the drive. Danny Trevathan did take responsibility for that 3rd and 12, that little short pass off the Miles Sanders. He said he had bad eyes on that play. Sanders ended up picking up 15 yards. Then they ran that little tunnel screen to the tight end.
Goddard.
To Goddard. And then before that, they also had the nice pick play to Zach Ertz, which is, hard to defend. So, it came down to play calls, I thought. The kind of play calls and execution the Bears aren't necessarily getting on their side of the football when they're on offense. And, the Bears just couldn't get it done. And then that disaster on special teams there at the end of the game. You just got to fall on that ball. It probably was too little too late anyway, but what a way for that game to end.
Hey, Adam, we sit here and talk, and Dan brought this up again in the first half and in the second half. And I got to tell you something. I mentioned last week or the week before. Why, bootleg him out, sprint him out, naked bootlegs, get the kid out. He's not a pocket passer. He's just not. Okay? Here's the other thing. Do you watch how lethargic we are on offense? Has he ever heard of a hurry-up offense where everybody goes to the line of scrimmage, you call a play into the quarterback, get set, let's go, bang, next play. Come on, let's get down, let's go, let's hit them hard. Bang, 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 bang. You watch us? We get in a huddle and guys are standing there, and Trubisky's waiting for somebody to call a play in. In the meantime, the clock is running. The clock is running out on us. And why can't we go with the hurry-up offense? Why can't we go with the sprint outs, the bootlegs? These are all things I've been saying for 2 years. I don't know why it's a mystery to Nagy, but apparently it is. I hope the hell I'm talking sense.
Adam, what are you going to be writing about?
That's a good question right now. I think there's a lot to process from this game. It probably just goes back to the terrible state of this offense right now and where they're at. And look, anybody who had watched any Philadelphia Eagles football this season knows how bad they've been in their secondary and how many big plays they've given up. Now, I understand when you're inept on first and second down and they're in third and longs, the defensive linemen are teeing off on you and they're blitzing, and so you can't necessarily go that far downfield. But whatever it was, a huge missed opportunity to wait until the second half to get those deep shots downfield, because the Eagles have been giving that up all year long. And, they made such a big deal about Avonte Maddox coming back in this game. Avonte Maddox couldn't cover Devontae Adams to save his life a few weeks ago when they played the Packers before Adams got hurt. So there's just so many questions. Allen Robinson getting one catch in this game is one of those two.
He had a rough day.
It's just – and by the way, Allen Robinson, the lasting moment to picture from this game, long after he got done talking in the media, he was still sitting there in his locker just with a blank stare on his face, not even moving. It just kind of summed up this day for the Chicago Bears offense.
Well, losing 4 in a row does that to the best of them.
Yeah. Adam,
sad.
We'll read you at WGNradio.com. Adam, great stuff as always, my brother.
All right, talk to you next week.
Adam Hogue from Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. We'll get to Mike, Brian, Mark, Daryl, John, all of you coming on back here. Bears lose to the Eagles 22-14 with you till 6 o'clock.
Look at the numbers for Trubisky right there. Again, 10 for 21, 125 yards. It's not good enough. However, Carson Wentz, 26 of 39 for 239 and a touchdown.
It's frustrating for all of us. It's not what we wanted or where we know we should be. And so that's where it's at. But we gotta do everything we can to stick together and to make sure that we keep fighting. I will say this: it's no consolation prize, but the guys fought till the end. And so being down like we were, 19-0, they never gave back, and I appreciate about that. I appreciate that part, but it doesn't mean anything really for the win-loss.
Now imagine they had that fight and the offense clicking at the same time, then you got something, because the Bears offense right now is struggling in a big way, producing a total of 164 yards of offense, only 10 first downs, their fewest so far under any game with Matt Nagy as coach. They only possessed the ball for 19 minutes in 42 seconds in today's loss, the Bears' worst time of possession in a game in a decade.
So you go macro, and I think we all know this about Trubisky being drafted ahead of Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Then you go micro, and you talk about last week with the Bears not trying to even get an extra yard in that failed field goal attempt against the Chargers. So that's kind of the gamut. Yeah. He didn't look good again today. 9 yards in the first half for the offense. Where do you stand on Trubisky right now?
I think he's a guy that's completely lost his confidence. And that's a scary thing, because it doesn't matter the play that's drawn up. It's a little bit like the second baseman that can't throw the ball to first base. You're like, wait a second, I've seen you do it. You can do it. I just think he's a guy that he's held on to the ball. Like when he struggled and would miss a throw, then we'd see him hold on to the football like he was afraid to just cut it loose. He doesn't look comfortable. And I know he's playing, with a banged up, left shoulder and all of that. But it's one of these scary things, because it's not about X's and O's at this point for him. It's really about where is he mentally feeling like he can deliver. And that's something that's hard to hide from your football team. And I think it's probably the hardest thing to overcome. Guys can overcome bad decisions because you learn from a mistake. But when it's something beyond that, like it's your confidence, it's nearly impossible to play through that.
And you know that, speaking QB to QB, a team that may have lost confidence in their quarterback, the Titans, how much confidence do the Panthers still have?
I mean, when are we going to have a good, solid top 5 defense again?
Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate the phone call. We pretty much have one.
And the window's closing. Hey, Eddie Goldman's out. Now Akeem Hicks is on IR. Kyle Long's gone. I mean, these are the things that you deal with, but That's the whole essence of OB and I. This summer, we were in a forum at the 100-year anniversary gala out at Rosemont, and OB was adamant, telling Akeem Hicks, hey, you know, what you did last year was fine, but this is the year. You have to approach it with a certain fervor, because you may never get this chance again. And things are going to change between now and next summer's training camp, trust me. But this year, we're 3-5. We're on the bottom looking up. The window is on your fingers. It's being shut right in front of our eyes. So, you know, these kids, they don't know it. That is for the head coach to preach it to them. And you can tell by the way they're playing, they don't get it. Because they're just, again, all game long, they were just, you know, they're down 19-0, walking around, sashaying like, oh, hey, there's always next week, and the paycheck comes Tuesday. By the way, back to his earlier point about the offense, just get in something that you can run, that you are productive at. We saw last week, we got in the eye. We went right down the field, gutting the Charger defense, and we scored a touchdown. Today, about 70% of the plays, Trubisky was under center, so maybe it's sinking in to you-know-who, the cranium, that he's figuring out, maybe I need to go back to old-school football because we're not smart enough and good enough to do all this trickery that we had some success with a year ago.
Mike, I'm not sure that our head coach and offensive coordinator, Nagy, has the wherewithal to bring this offense up to snuff of where an offense should be in the National Football League halfway through the 2019 season, okay? All you have to do is look, we have no sense of urgency on our offense, none whatsoever. We have a quarterback that continually stick him in the pocket. He's not a pocket passer. He's not an accurate passer. So what do? You spread him out, stronger weak side. You bootleg, you naked bootleg him. You give him a chance to get out to spread his wings. And how about going downfield? It was such a strange thing to see that pass for 53 yards today that happened in the second half. We don't see that. We don't go downfield. We don't have a hurry-up offense. We have nothing to go. We just get back in huddle, lethargic, get up to the line, and it's the same damn thing, game after game, play after play, quarter after quarter. At least that's the way I see it. And I think it's the way it is, unfortunately.
I don't want to hear this crap about Trubisky. Oh, he's only played 25 games or whatever. Brandon Allen, a nobody quarterback from the University of Arkansas, starting his very first game in the NFL today for the Denver Broncos, is 7-12, 125 yards, and 2 touchdown passes on his first game ever in the NFL. So don't tell me, oh, Trubisky's going to grow and come to fruition. No, it's about doing the right things at the right time, and this kid has no clue.
Well, he's made 33 starts now. He's not a kid anymore.
Brendan Allen's played one half, and he's already got 2 touchdown passes.
That's unbelievable. Hey, 3 years, it's enough already. Get to the call.
Mike in Hawthorne Woods, you're going to get our $50 gift certificate to Bartolini's Restaurant Catering and Banquets. It's family owned and family operated. Their meatballs have been featured on the Travel Channel. They're amazing. I ate 3 of them today. You can visit them at bartolinis.com.
And the chicken? You ate all the chicken.
I crushed the chicken too, and that other sweet thing was a disaster.
Stop it! I'm going to get PETA in here.
Go to the callers before I strangle you.
We'll have to do that after the news at 5 o'clock. Ob, we got to go to the news, and so you can strangle me for a good 10 minutes.
All right, I'll just hold you for a couple minutes.
Hopefully I will survive. Hang in there, Brian, Mark, Daryl, John. Trust me, we got time to take it coming on back here. 720 WG. I don't think the Bears ownership is going to be giving up some ownership. Hampo, you have any reaction to that one?
Well, at any one point in time during the course of a season, the teams have to ask themselves 3 questions. Number 1, what are we? Well, we're 3-5, and we're at the bottom of our division. Second question, what are we? Well, we're a team with an offense that is completely dysfunctional because of the quarterback position and the play calling. And why are we like this? Because we are unprepared, and all that falls back on the coach that thinks he's smarter than everyone else and didn't want to play in the preseason, didn't want to execute, certain aspects of this offense to try to get this team in a position where they are a threat, a viable threat. We're not asking them to score 40 a game. We're saying score when you have an opportunity. Those three questions, every one of them is a negative answer.
If you were to ask the best quarterbacks that ever played this game, just if you were to ask Aaron Rodgers this question, Tom Brady this question, what's the most important thing in a passing game? If this isn't the first answer, it's the second one. Timing. Timing is the most important thing in the passing game.
Amen.
And you cannot get timing down playing against your players in dummy scrimmage or in some kind of a touch scrimmage or whatever it is that the Bears do. You've got to get it going in the exhibition season. That's why there's 4 games, and that's why you should be able to play at least a quarter and a half, or maybe up to a half of a game, okay? And why? To get your timing down, handing the ball off with your run blockers, with your pass blockers, in there blocking on real guys, blitzing and coming after you, and of course, the wideouts trying to get separation from the defensive backs. And it's all about timing. And when you don't even do it, not one time, this whole past offseason, what do you think's going to happen when you start the real league season? What do you think's going to happen?
You know, a defense is like a net. You can't cover the whole field. There's holes in that defense. And your job as an offense is to puncture those holes, whether it's a zone or it's a man-to-man, whatever. Man-to-man, you run crossing routes. You run, pick plays. You do different things. You create the opportunities. That is based on timing. And you work on that. Now,
that's it.
One of the chronic Achilles heels of Trubisky is his continually throwing the ball behind receivers. A lot of that is due to the fact in practice, nobody's going game speed. Nobody's going 100 miles an hour. So he doesn't know where the receivers will be in a game, and they're usually 2, 3, 4, 5 yards past where he normally expects it. So when he throws it, that's why the ball's errantly thrown behind.
There it is in a nutshell. All right, 312-981-7200. We'll take more calls coming on back here. We're going to play Matt Nagy and Mitchell Trubisky coming up. And
do we have to?
Well, you're probably leaving at 6. I'm sticking around till 6:30. So,
well, why don't you wait till then? You play them. Let's take the callers.
That's what we'll do.
That's all I got to do at this time of the day is listen to those two guys.
I'm going to ask you a question coming back, OB, that I want an answer. It involves the quarterback, and I'm going to give you options. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And you too, Hampo. We'll do that coming back. 720 WG.
For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app, approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFFIX Chicago. The forecast from the WGN Chicago Weather Center: a 40% chance of rain tonight, cloudy, a low 43. Tomorrow, cloudy, high 49. Gradually becoming partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 32. Tuesday, mostly sunny, high 41. It is 50 degrees at Midway, 50 degrees at O'Hare, 52 at Midway, 48 in Frankfurt, and 51 on Chicago's lakefront. I'm James Sears on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
Down at 8. Trubisky on play action. And he's going to go deep. And there's a receiver there. And he's got Taylor Gabriel. And they get inside the 10-yard line.
53-yard completion right there. They haven't done a ton on the text line, but I'll read one from the 224. Do Danimal and OB have high blood pressure? I don't know why.
I don't until I come here. And then, you know what? After 3 hours of therapeutic commiseration with Mr. Obradovich, I feel better.
There you go. Right, OB? You don't have high blood pressure, do you?
Yes, I do have high blood pressure. As a matter of fact, I take 2 high blood pressure pills.
Oh, boy.
One for regular high blood pressure, and then one for high blood pressure.
A double.
Game day.
A game day. Game day pill.
I can't help it.
Well, you don't go change it. The Defensive Player of the Game team is sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDealersChicago.com. Who do you got, Hampo?
Well, I'm going to say Leonard Floyd. And Leonard Floyd has been invisible most of the year, and most of his 4 years now. And today he had a sack, 6 tackles, but he made some real good decisions. And he wasn't the reason the defense was struggling.
Did we find out that's at the fewest points, 9 yards total, in the last 40 years? Do we find out any more information?
Well, I'm working on it, OB.
All right, let me know, because I think that's astonishing.
All right, we're going to get to something very important that was written this week that we haven't talked about yet. But
what about the callers?
Well, to your point, OB, I was thinking along those lines. Let's get Tom in Edgebrook on 720 WGN. Go ahead, Tom.
How are you guys?
Okay.
I got a question. So who bears most responsibility? Pace, who's supposed to evaluate talent, Nagy, who's supposed to develop it, or the players who are supposed to possess it? What about Pace? We already know what he passed up. And in addition, why should Bear fans be patient for another wasted season? We've only won one Super Bowl in over 50 years. And we're going to have another wasted season where we're going to develop the talent. Maybe Trubisky's doing as best as he can. Maybe he just doesn't have the talent, and he was misevaluated. I'll hang up and just listen to what you got to say.
All right.
Tom, that was a great call.
It was.
That was a great call, Tom. Thank you.
I mean,
Well, here's the bottom line. Think about this. The best players on our team, what are they? Well, Khalil Mack's the best player. Well, we didn't draft him. We traded for him. Akeem Hicks.
I think he's the best player on the team.
Well, either
Personal
way.
choice, that's all.
Okay, Danny Trevathan. He was drafted by the Broncos. Mukamara was their best corner today. He was a giant pick. Where are our first rounders now? And everybody's sick of hearing about the Super Bowl of '85, but think about this: there was 9 first-round draft picks that started, and I don't know what Peyton was a first-round pick. I was a first-round pick, and Singletary is a number 2. Richard Dent was a 7. They were drafted by the Bears. Those are the 4 Hall of Famers. So, and then Jimbo Covert should be a Hall of Famer. He was amazing. I'm just saying, Keith Van Horn played 15 years, started every game. I'm just saying, you have to hit on your ones. Let's look at Pace's ones. Kevin White out of the league. Roquan Smith going backwards. Leonard Floyd you said it best. He would be okay if he was a 3rd-round pick, but he's nobody's all-star. And the other one is, the hand warmer that is rated the 35th best quarterback in all of football. That means he's behind 3 or 4 bench warmers that got some playing time. So you tell me, Ryan Pace claimed it. Well, let's look at his number 2s. Cody Whitehair, a decent player. He got a $9 million contract extension this year, $9 million a year, by the way. And I saw him get a bull rush right into the lap of the quarterback for a sack today. And Adam Shaheen, who's a bumbler. Not just the kickoff return, but everything else he's done. If he's not injured, he's bumbling and causing problems. So, you got to build a team through the draft. That was the hook that Jim Finks hung that hat on, and we're not doing it.
His 2s are actually his best, and that still includes Adam Shaheen, Eddie Goldman, Cody Whitehair, Adam Shaheen, and then James Daniels.
They're solid starters.
Yeah,
nothing special.
But no, right. Exactly.
But the first rounders, they're nondescript. I mean,
that's why he's happy that you can't pick one. That's why he's glad to give them up.
That's why he trades them.
All right. What do we take from this? And by the way, here's our poll question: who deserves the most blame for how this season has unfolded? And there are your choices: Matt Nagy, Mitchell Trubisky, or Ryan Pace.
I hope that goes 33-33-33. I really do. Because they all deserve it. They all deserve it. So I can't wait to see what you guys think. So please vote.
I think it should be shaved a little bit higher in the Ryan Pace category.
Ryan Pace can only get him here. He can only get him here. He don't catch passes. He don't block. He don't come up with game plans.
He had to make a decision.
He got the wrong guy here.
Boom.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
Preach.
Because if you give up picks to move up to number 2 to get a guy that probably 31 other teams wouldn't have gave up, and he's not performing in the way that you expect number 2 pick to perform, then
it would have been a lot more
percentage
if the other
goes
leagues were
towards
still
Ryan
involved.
Pace's.
Okay, for some reason I'm getting a weird feeling that you guys think I am in support of Mitch. Like
you were.
Trust
just
me,
now.
I'm not defending him. Okay, I am not defending.
You're saying
Mitchell
there's
Trubisky.
equal blame.
I'm saying
look.
there's equal blame across the board. That's what I'm saying. So yes,
looks right now looks like the city is behind what
yes.
me and Matthew were saying.
Pace. Well, Pace is also to blame for getting all the really good players that you love here too. So that's all I'm saying. If he makes 10 good picks and he makes one bad one, you can't just say he's horrible.
But if the picks that he's making are sending the team in the other direction, the opposite direction, the bad is starting to outweigh the good.
Just do me a favor and cut your losses. When you know you made a pick and it didn't work, get him off the field.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start to move on. Because it's pretty apparent to me, and it has been for a while, that Mitchell is not even close to the franchise quarterback you thought he was.
Yeah, but AB, that second half is going to give them all the evidence they need.
No question.
To be positive about next week.
And I'm there. I'm with that because with that second half, if you can play football like that for an entire game, you can win football games. But what we've seen is they do not do that. Second half of the or second quarter, I believe, of the Washington game, they scored all their points. The other 3 quarters, they did nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. They play quarters. They'll play 1 quarter of a game. They'll play a half of a game. But that's it. They don't play an entire game. Yeah. And when you go from playing, I'm talking the worst offense I've seen in, 5-6 years.
It's garbage juice.
Probably in the last decade in that first half to actually being and getting things done, not just on the offensive side, but on the defensive side as well, getting the ball back to the offense so they can score what you saw in the second half of this game. What is the problem? Why can't you get the guys to play like this for an entire football game?
I think it's new for him. I think this is new for, the running the I formation, doing plays like that, committing to the run. Mm-hmm. They haven't done this consistently enough yet anyway for us to believe that this is where they're going anyway.
Seeing the play action off of it, which gave them a
huge worked. That means they got chunk plays off of play action. This is all that we were talking about last week, where if you set up the I formation, it honestly, it makes me angrier about last week because it seemed as if those things weren't in last week, and now you can see. How about making it easier for your quarterback? You run the ball, you draw up the defense with some play action, and then let him make easier throws. They let him do that today, and he was actually okay at it. So, although he was short on that Robinson ball,
he was.
Should have been a touchdown. And the Gabriel.
And it should have been a catch.
Do you think he's moving? Do you think he's moving? He being Coach Nagy, you think he's moving a little bit towards maybe not being? I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it more of the way to what my talent on my team says.
Well,
because
maybe not even just the team.
He added a little bit more this week.
It's more than the team. And there's no stat line right there, but I'm telling you, 99.9% of the whole state of Illinois has been telling him to do what he did today.
To run the ball and play action off of it?
Yeah.
But he's the genius, though, right? He's the genius.
He needs to change his saying. It says "be you" on his call sheet. It should say "be us."
Yes.
Because for weeks we've been talking about the play action game, running the ball, and that move the pocket so Mitch can throw it on the run sometimes, and just to mix things up. When they had that good drive, they ran the ball twice. They almost get, it's third and medium, which is you can open up your playbook. They go play action. He rolls out, moves the pocket.
Yep.
Taylor Gabriel's wide open. Makes a good throw. Then they end up running the ball. We get a touchdown.
Yep.
That's the kind of drives that we've been talking about forever.
Absolutely.
And that's not necessarily Nagy's typical offense.
No, we saw it. We saw it on another play in the second half where they end up in third and medium. It's 3rd and 6. He goes 5 wide.
Yeah.
Yes.
And David Montgomery's not on the field. And it's like he's clearly your second best player.
He's trying.
Why is he not on the field?
He's trying. He's trying to do what's right, but every now and then it's like a brain fart. Like it's like, I got to do it this way. No, go back to what they got inside the 2-yard line. They ran the ball with, I believe, Tariq Cohen. He almost lost the ball trying to stretch it out. They brought in because normally from there we're going to see 4 wide. We're going to run a reverse. He came in, ran Montgomery, got the touchdown.
Yeah.
From that point, when we had first down and realized Tariq didn't get in the end zone, it was 1st and goal. We're all saying 4 down territory, you run the ball 4 times. Yeah. That's what you do.
Yeah. We were like Ric Flair. We were like, 4! Yes. 4!
Absolutely.
That's what you're doing.
That's what you do. Yeah. So we lost. I can't stand losing.
Is this a moral victory from AB?
It's a moral half. I am excited in the sense of seeing if they build off of this half right here. I am. I'm trying to be positive here, man. I have been I didn't think they were going to win. No, I didn't think they were going to win, but I also didn't think they were going to play as bad as they played in the first half. And then you see them in the second half. That first half, the first drive of the game, all I heard all week was it's the offense's fault why the defense isn't playing so well. First drive of the game, that Joe Down got points. Second drive, Joe Down got points. It's not the offense's fault. It's not the offense's fault. You get off the field. And then in the second half,
we saw them
what
get
happened?
Off the field.
Did they change players in the second half?
They did not.
They did not change players. Okay, so you didn't change players. You just started doing your dang job. And if you do your job, everybody does their job. You can get stuff done and you get off the field. You start to see when your offense goes down and they score a touchdown and you come out and 3 and out. Holy crap, it works.
Yep.
It works. Just do it that way, and you can do it.
Just do your job. No matter which side of the ball. You can't blame the defense for the offense's performance, and you can't blame the offense for the defense's performance. If you have an opportunity, if the offense isn't able to sustain drives, and you have to go out there defensively, get off the field in 3 plays or less. Every time. There's nothing, those rules that say you have to be on the field for 14 plays.
You can take the ball away.
You can take the ball away.
You can.
Score on defense.
Preach it. I don't see that enough. I don't see guys punching at the ball. I don't see guys ripping at the ball. I see guys making tackles. I saw Leonard Floyd run down and make a tackle 6 yards down the field coming from behind the guy, and I didn't see him punch at the ball once or try to rip the ball out. Like, those things are things that you have to do all the time. It can't be, oh, man, let me try to. No, it's got to be on your mind the entire time, and we'll start to see some of those takeaways come back.
I'll tell you where you do see that. You see that in New England.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you won't be on the field if you don't.
You won't be on the field.
That's it.
They practice.
You might not be on the team.
True. Yeah. They will cut you.
They will send you someplace if you don't do what you need to do.
Then you better be careful with your tweets.
That's the tweets.
The tweets.
And your tweets.
Let him go. Let him play football.
It's the Chevy Hampton OB Show with Kaz. And it's brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com on 720 WGN Radio.
Lions get in the end zone, tied up at 24 with the Raiders. Oakland football with 2:55 to go. Hampton OB till the top of the hour. I'm sticking around till 6:30. We're going to play Matt Nagy. We're going to play Mitchell Trubisky because
I can hardly wait.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Not now. Do we have callers?
Let's go, callers.
At 6 o'clock, when you leave, is when I'm going to play the Don't
that's
You.
what I mentioned to you. So that after we leave, then you can listen to those two geniuses.
I will listen to the two geniuses. I think people will enjoy just sitting back and
that brings tears to my eyes.
Getting ready for dinner, listen to a little head coach of the Bears. Bill in Naperville, you don't trust Ryan Pace. At least that's what it says on the screen here. Go ahead, man.
I would just say, God forbid if the Bears should go 3-13, and I don't believe they have a first-round pick. But would you guys trust him to make such a high pick, Ryan Pace, next year?
No.
Guys, we don't have to worry about that because we don't have a one. But here's what you should worry about. There is a increasing trend of teams locking up certain players, i.e. Cody Whitehair, before their 4th year and the end of their rookie contract. And guess who I'm talking about? And here's, at the end of the day, I know that performance should matter. The integrity of the game is built on not fake players, fake stats, fake this and that. We all know that Trubisky has been a miserable, he's a bust. I mean, come on, it is what it is. But don't sleep on the fact that Pace will double down thinking that he's miraculously going to, take the juice next year and play great, and that he's going to hedge his bets and sign him before the year starts and not let him play out his rookie contract. That's what you got to worry about.
If they sign Mitchell Trubisky to a contract extension, that would be a riot in the city. I'm
just telling you, don't be shocked.
There's one text that's coming I want to read to you guys. The two things need to happen. Daniel has to be the quarterback, and the offensive line, which is why I'm more interested in what you guys think, need to stop boxing and start blocking on pass plays. It looks like they're playing patty cake every time out there. What are you seeing with the offensive line?
Well, and OB and I talk about this a lot, and a lot of the times they're too passive and they're waiting for moves rather than, attacking and engaging. And what he's saying there, they're trying to do the hand fighting. Well, that's defensive linemen. Let them hand fight. You take a quick set. You stop them, stone them on the line. Next time, back up a yard, and then re-engage. There's different techniques, and it looks like we're just playing passive, football and giving ground and hoping they're not going to bull rush us back into the lap of the quarterback.
You remember I brought that up to you a couple of weeks ago, Dan? How to stop one certain player. And that's the thing. If it's a passing, which most of the time, that's all people do in this league is pass. Engage him. Take him at the line. Get up, get down, get set. As soon as the snap of that ball, engage him right at the line. Shuck him right at the line. Then drop back half a step or a yard, and then wait and engage him again. But you don't want to drop back that yard and a half, 2 yards, and then let him get momentum going. I'm talking about the defensive lineman. Don't let him get low. Don't let him use leverage on you, and so make him be able to spin inside or outside or sweep around you. What you got to do is engage him at the line of scrimmage, and that's what we're not doing.
Raiders just got in the end zone. Derek Carr, 9-yard touchdown pass, 31-24 Oakland with 2 minutes to go. Detroit, of course, coming in here next weekend. They'll be 3-4-1 unless they rally. And, of course, the Bears sitting at 3-5. OB, give me the keys, brother.
The keys? The keys for us is for all 53 players and the coaches, make sure you go to church every day this week. Okay, I don't know what you're not, whatever, but you must go to church every day, minimum of an hour, and be honest with the good Lord. And then go to practice and listen to whatever Nagy's going to tell you. And then come out. And I don't know, folks. I'll tell you what. This is such a joke what's going on here. But 9 yards, the first half running and passing, and what we did last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. I'm running out of things to say.
What do you think's going on in that locker room? What's going on in that flight back? What's going on at practice this week?
I could tell you this. It's just like the fans. They haven't lost their eyesight. You think the players don't see what's going on there? They're sitting on the sidelines. And you think that they don't know that they gained total 9 yards in the first half? They know all this stuff. They know, and they see it. Now, do they say it? No, because you want to keep everything together and whatever have you. But I'll guarantee you that they see, they watch, and they're looking and saying, "Oh my God, what's going on here?"
All the quotes that I'm reading about the players coming up to Matt Nagy saying, "I've got your back, coach." Are they doing that because they don't want to lose their job? Do they actually mean it?
That's all they say every week.
Yep.
Listen, I got your back. I got my back. He's got his back. You got your back. I got my back. The wind is at your back. The back is back. Make me sick.
I think they mean it. I actually think they like Nagy. And
it's called job security. But maybe keep the coach happy with you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're 3-5. And
I hope you're wrong there, because if you're right, then we really got a sad situation.
3-5 and we got everybody's back.
All right, team. Thank you for everybody who... Oh, wow. Yeah, we're out of here, OB. Thank you for listening, texting, calling. Our buddy Kaz for jumping on. Adam Hogue at Lincoln Financial Field. I'm not going anywhere, by the way. I'll be with you till 6:30. So stick around. We'll play the head coach. We'll play the quarterback. We'll hear some of that. I'll give you some reaction to what we hear from both of them coming up here. Gentlemen, we'll see you next week at 3 o'clock. Yes, OB?
Thanks, Mark. You did a great job, and you listeners, thank you so very much.
And thank you to our outstanding executive producer, Rick Geezer, Sammy Martino producing as well. Bears lose. They're 3-5, and we're going to hear from the coaches coming on up here. Hampton will be walking on out. Bob and Dalton, Jameson and Edgewater, Marshall. I could take some calls too coming back after 6 o'clock, but we do got to get you to news next. 720 WG.
Makers point to a larger cultural and systemic problem that needs to change.
We're not seeing just a targeted investigation of one instance. This is not a quick hit about find one thing that happened wrong. Instead, we're finding this overlapping series of investigations that are ensnaring more and more people that have been running for years.
Demmer appeared on WGN Sunday Spin program this morning. You can hear the entire interview as a podcast on our website at WGNradio.com. Chicago Archdiocese has reinstated a priest who had been accused of sexual abuse. Father William McFarland served at Nativity of Our Lord in Bridgeport, also at St. Gabriel's in Canaryville. We get more from WGN TV's Courtney Guzman.
The diocese says the allegations were reported to the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services and the Cook County State's Attorney, and that this all came to light this past summer in July. That's when McFarland was asked to step down from active ministry while an investigation was complete.
Archdiocese determined there was insufficient evidence that Father McFarland abused a minor. Charges date from 1997, prior to Father McFarland entering seminary. He's going to be reassigned. Reaction to a tweet by President Trump regarding those California wildfires.
President Trump tweeting that he may withhold federal wildfire aid from California, saying they haven't managed their forest land well. To reporters at the White House,
you got fires eating away at California every year because management is so bad. The governor doesn't know. He's like a child.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has responded, tweeting, quote, "You do not believe in climate change. You are excused from this conversation," says the governor. Also, the federal government, not the state, manages a majority of California forest land. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Now that we've set our clocks back an hour, new poll shows more and more people are getting sick of it.
A poll done by the Associated Press shows 7 in 10 Americans don't like springing ahead or falling back. 4 in 10 want to stay on standard time year-round. 3 in 10 want to stay on daylight saving time. Another 3 in 10 like switching back and forth. 7 states have asked Congress to allow year-round daylight saving time. Dave Schwann, WGN News.
We'll check sports, traffic, and weather next on WGN Sports. We got the Blackhawks visiting Anaheim coming up at 6:30 with the pregame with Chris Bowden. Face-off will be at 7 o'clock with John Wyndham and Troy Murray right here on 720 WGN, WGNradio.com. In football today, Bears losing to Philadelphia 22-14. And in NBA action right now, we've got the Bulls in action against Indiana. Indiana in the fourth quarter right now, 98-88, leading the game against the Bulls. Checking WGN traffic, really only have one trouble spot out there right now. Long-term bridge work leaving one lane open northbound I-55 right after Route 129 to Blodgett Road. That's some healthy delays there. For personalized traffic on demand, get the Traffic Chicago app, approved by the mortgage experts of Team Hochberg. Just search TRAFFIX Chicago. Your forecast from the WGN Chicago Weather Center. Rest of the overnight, a 40% chance for showers before 5 o'clock in the morning. It'll be breezy overnight, low around 42. Monday back to school and work. Slight chance of showers most of the day, windy with a high near 48. Temperatures around the area right now, 50 at O'Hare and Schaumburg, 52 at Midway, 51 along the lakefront. Lake Michigan water temperature at 49, winds out of the southwest at 10. I'm Roger Badish on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
For 34 years doing this business, for 34 years and watching stupidity prevail. I'll say it again, watching stupidity prevail. That's what you saw today. The week before, the week before, the year before, the year before. This is Chicago, for God's sakes. The footing and the foundation of the National Football League. Get rid of some of these imbeciles.
Oh, B, damn it. He has left the studio, but we'll be back next week, and that rant is vintage OB. My name is Mark Carman. Me and Rick Gies are sticking around to the bottom of the hour for you as the Blackhawks in Anaheim coming up. Chris Bowden will be taking the mic at that point with your Blackhawks pregame show. Hawks on the road tonight, 7 o'clock, the puck drop there. We're going to play some Matt Nagy coming up and a little bit of Mitchell Trubisky as well, but I will service you 312-981-7200. Let me get some calls in here, and then we'll get to the coach. Jameson, you've been waiting patiently. What do you want to say, my friend?
Hey, yeah. I just it seems like every time I watch the game, I know I kind of feel like what's going to happen by the first end of the first quarter,
And I keep thinking to myself, the best thing that's going to come out of this show that I listen to, and I know, it sounds kind of corny, but really, OB and Hampton nail it every time. And it makes me feel a hell of a lot better. And I love the show when the Bears play horrible, the show is amazing. So I just want to say, if anything fantastic can come out of this whole thing, it's that these guys, their rants and the way that they, shoot it straight is incredibly on point. And, that's it. And I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Jameson, I appreciate the phone call. And to your point, it's real. I mean, there's no performance from either Hamp and or OB. We'll go to break and I'll say something and OB will start yelling at me during the timeout, or just watching the game, period. He's screaming at the television. If you read the piece in The Athletic that Dan Pompei wrote, the guy's walking through the supermarket and he's screaming about the tomatoes because there's only green tomatoes and he's looking for a good red tomato. So you can't fake what those guys do because it just would never work. And that's, I think, why you like it so much and why so many people love it so much, because it's real. They are unabashedly themselves. And, I'm privileged to be able to sit here and just kind of facilitate the conversation or just sit here and watch, really, at times, because, sometimes they need nothing. They're great people, and they're extremely passionate about what they do. By the way, the Raiders kept the Lions out of the end zone. 31-24 Oakland wins, so Detroit's 3-4. The Lions got down all the way to the 1 yard line, turned away on the last play of the game as the Raiders pull off the win. Oakland's been a somewhat decent surprise this year, now 4-4. Let me get Bob in Dalton on 720 WGN. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, I was just wondering what you thought of the Zach Ertz touchdown pass. Was that pass interference or what, man?
I thought it was. I thought he smacked Kyle Fuller right in the face mask. I asked, if you were listening, Hampton will be the same thing, and both of them said that was an offensive player playing the game of football correctly. Certainly Kyle Fuller agrees with you. I would agree with you too, Bob.
Yeah, I didn't hear their comments on it, but I was watching the referees had like a brief conversation, and the commentators on TV didn't say nothing about it. They barely replayed it, but yeah, if an offensive lineman does that or something, that's hands to the face, or that was more than just some little push off on his jersey or something. It was 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And Zach Ertz absolutely killed the Bears today.
Other than that, the other catches were good catches, but that was the touchdown catch, and that would have moved them back. And
yep, no question. It was a big play.
Big nine call, yeah.
Yep. Bob, good call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
312-981-7200. Yeah, Zach Ertz had a huge game. 9 catches, 103 yards. That touchdown that we're just talking about there. Goddard had 4 catches for 39. Tight ends were killing the Bears today. Let me get one more in here, and then we'll play Matt Nagy. Marshall in Milwaukee. Go ahead, man.
Hello. I'm a Packer fan. However, I love listening to the show. However, I have to respectfully disagree with OB and the other commentator, because
Dan Hampton, the Hall of Famer. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with him most of the time. However, if you look at the talent, they've had the same basic talent as they did last year. And the coaching, basically the same, except I would say the offensive play calling has just been disastrous for you guys. And that's where they're falling down. You're only a half inch at the most of going real deep in the playoffs. So you have the talent. I think you have the head coaching and the defense. It's just that the play calling is terrible. Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Marshall. I appreciate the phone call. Listen, Matt Nagy called his own play calling, not all of it, but he called some plays from last week terrible, where he was looking at himself in the mirror and questioning what he had called, particularly down at the goal line at the end of the first half. So that has been an issue for the Bears this year. However, I think a bigger issue is that they're playing a tougher schedule. Things are not bouncing their way like they did last year. And you are losing games like last week to the Chargers where you're missing a field goal. Now, granted, they beat the Broncos on a miracle 53-yarder that shouldn't have happened, or at least they were very beneficial to get a timeout with 1 second to go. So a lot of things went right last year. To me, the biggest stunner for this season is that Mitchell Trubisky has straight gone backwards. He ended the year, at least in my mind, last year on an uptick. He played great in the fourth quarter against the Eagles. He put them in position to win. They missed the kick. I thought that Trubisky was going to get better. I still thought he was the biggest problem. I thought he'd be the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL, and you needed to be number 15. But he's been number 35. And he's been hurt. And I think the Bears would be better with Chase Daniel. People don't want to hear that, but the dude knows the offense better. Would they be a playoff team with Chase Daniel? I don't know. The other thing is that the defense has regressed. You're missing Akeem Hicks. That's been a huge thing, right? And look, you get off the field today, you would have given them a chance to win the game. I don't know if they would have done it. They probably wouldn't have, but you got to get off the field, right? And they were unable to do it. And that, I mean, if you could also go back to last year. They weren't able to keep the Eagles out of the end zone either. So when it's mattered the most, this outstanding defense, top 5 defense in the NFL, has let down. So that's, it's not just Mitchell Trubisky. Special teams haven't exactly been great either. So, and they haven't been, the run game, 62 yards today, and I get it. The Eagles are way better up front than the Chargers, so I wasn't expecting the same production, but Jordan Howard had 19 carries for 82 yards today. People don't want to hear that either. But you gave up Jordan Howard for a 6th-round pick. I didn't get that one. Why not? You could have Howard and David Montgomery. You want to draft another running back that fits better. I get it. You still have Tariq Cohen, but put him in the slot. Let him just be a wide receiver. Whenever he gets the ball in the backfield, it's very rare that things go well. Hey, Monday, an illegal switch that turns a Glock into a mini machine gun. It's already turning up in Chicago. WGN TV investigates Monday at 9. Blackhawks hockey's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Play a little bit of Matt Nagy next and a little bit of Mitchell Trubisky to wrap up the show. 720 WGN.
We're down 19-0, then 19-7, then 19-14, and we never had a sense of urgency. At some point, it has to be hung on you-know-who's bald head.
The Danimal. You can hear him tomorrow morning on the Steve Cochran Show. I want to say 7:40 is when Hampo will be on tomorrow morning. Let's play some of the head coach here. This was Matt Nagy after the football game. We'll hear for a little bit from Mitchell Trubisky. Blackhawks hockey is coming up. And one other note, Anthony Rizzo, congrats to you, the NL Gold Glove Award winner at first base. That news just breaking, so congrats to Riz. And here is the head coach, Matt Nagy.
Nothing too major. I think Eddie Goldman had a thigh, but other than that, nothing too much. Deion Bush was an illness pregame. So, go ahead. Yeah. 9 total yards, 2 first downs, and 8 penalties. Yeah. Just really sloppy, extremely sloppy. I don't know how many drives there were in there, but I feel like a lot of them were negative plays on first down. So the next play that occurs, it's 2nd and 15. It's 1st and 20 with a penalty, 1st and 10. If you think you're going to do that coming into a place like this with the defense that they have with that front line, you're not going to be in good shape. And that's what happened. And the results showed it. It was, the score felt a lot worse than what it was. So we just got to be better. What changed on second? We stayed ahead of the sticks on first down. I mean, it was as simple as that. That'll be the first thing that I'm going to look at when I watch tape. You were able to hit some deep shots too. Did they change it coverage-wise to open that up? No, they didn't. No, there was, I think when you look at that, there's the ability to, when the run is a threat down and distance-wise, you can take shots with play action, and that's some of that. When it's 2nd and 15, it's hard to do a play action pass. You guys were ahead of the sticks with the first play. Yep. Get past that first down. Yeah. Then you take a negative play. Right. What did you sense though early? I mean, just right out of the gate, like maybe it's going to be. Yeah. No, we felt like we were. We wanted to just get that rhythm going and get those first downs, kind of like we did it last week early on, but boy, we just couldn't get it going, and it snowballed. It really did. It just snowballed. It was one thing after the next, and it's again just not what can happen. We can't have that.
Matt, how jarring is it to see where your team is at right now?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's frustrating for all of us. It's not what we wanted or where we know we should be. And so that's where it's at. But we gotta do everything we can to stick together and to make sure that we keep fighting. I will say this: it's no consolation prize, but the guys fought till the end. And so being down like we were, 19-0, they never gave back, and I appreciate about that. I appreciate that part, but it doesn't mean anything really for the win-loss.
You guys are still in the game. You have a 2nd and 9 and screen the day.
Yeah.
What did you see in front of him having to call?
Yeah, it's again, it was one of those games where something like that. I mean, David is of all the players that we have. I mean, he knows that he can catch that ball, and there was some green grass there. Our lineman got out. It was a 2nd and 9, so that, they're thinking pass downfield, so they're going to rush, pop him with a screen, and just didn't get it. So we got to go on to the next play, and we know. I appreciate how hard he's been running the football, and he wants it a lot.
There were 8 penalties in the first half.
Yeah.
4 of them were neutral zone infractions.
Yeah.
You don't see these things coming, I see, but what do you attribute that type of stuff?
I know what it was too. It wasn't. There was some stuff to that, so I'm not going to get into that.
The center was manipulated.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into all all that.
All right, so there's the head coach, Matt Nagy, who I would have loved to have seen him answer that last question with the neutral zone infractions jumping off sides, which was not good. And I kind of heard a coach right there that was a little resigned to what this season is. At least that's what I was hearing, that you can... we got to stay positive and this and that. And I know it's no consolation, but we did come back. And I think he knows exactly what is in store for 2019, which is obviously incredibly disappointing. Here's the quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitch, what did you feel like went wrong in the first half as you guys did?
Yeah, just bad plays on 1st and 2nd down, not being in 3rd and manageable, hurting ourselves, not doing the simple things. And then credit going against a good defense. So when you hurt yourself and you don't create positive plays, you put yourself in a tough position. And good defenses like that are going to tee off with the rush, challenge you with man coverage, which they did, and we just didn't make enough plays.
What was the conversation about that?
Yeah, basically we just got to be better on 1st and 2nd down. We can't hurt ourselves, make the play, just each man do their job. We know what we're seeing out there. It was exactly what we expected. I mean, there's always a couple of new things they throw in there, but for the most part, they challenge us up front and they challenge us on the outside. And I should have done a better job in the first half, just putting the ball in areas where guys can make plays. And overall, I mean, we just hurt ourselves. They made more plays than we did. We got outplayed in the first half. But we made some adjustments and kept fighting the second half. So you're proud of their resilience, but at the end of the day, it's still not enough. And we know that because you feel like this afterwards. So.
Which we talk about putting the ball in the right places. Matt talked about collective sloppiness all around. But for you, if anything that was behind accuracy, if that's what you're going to here?
Yeah, I feel like they had the pass rush going a little bit, and they were teeing off in the first half, which getting the run game going in the second half, and the play action game helped slow that down a little bit. But for the times that I did have vision, I felt like I could have maybe put it in a different spot than when I did. And when you have a rush like that, going like that, you just got to get the ball out quick, and you got to be able to beat man coverage. And so I think we can all be better in different areas, and I'm just going to look at myself to see where I could put the ball in different places on film and come back and try to improve. But we got to win our one-on-one matchups, and I got to be more accurate.
Mitch, for the first drives of the games have been tough for you guys this year. You get the 4-yard run right away, and then David came back on that second play. What did you see in that sequence that kind of led to going backward?
You're talking about the runs?
Yeah, in the second and third time, just in that first series.
Yeah, to start the game. First play, I mean, we're not moving the line of scrimmage, not getting a positive play, and that hurts when you're second and long or whatever. And I think we had another run, and it just gets tough. So you'd like to set the tempo early on in the game, moving the line of scrimmage, creating holes. But sometimes you got to give credit to them. They came ready to play the first couple plays, and we didn't. And then on third down, it was man across the board. We didn't make a play. They did. So we just got to come out better. We got to come out faster. We got to come out with a different attitude, kind of like we did the second half with a little chip on our shoulder. And I think if we start the game like that, we'll give ourselves a better chance. But it's right now we're not giving ourselves a chance starting like that and just putting ourselves in bad position.
All right, so there is Mitchell Trubisky. A couple things there. You know, this is a guy who said, I've got your back, you've got my back, everybody's got everybody's back. And now he's calling out that when I did have an opportunity to actually look down the field, I mean, he's naming the offensive line. That might not go over especially well. Now, maybe you guys are able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, he's right, but that's dangerous territory for a quarterback. All right, I got to say goodbye. Blackhawks hockey is coming on up here. Bears and Lions next week. We'll talk to you then. Blackhawk hockey coming up in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Now, perhaps some of you had this misguided belief, very misguided belief, that the Bears' season wasn't over after last week's home loss to the Chargers. Now, maybe you're sitting there saying to yourself, hey, 3-4, teams have made the playoffs starting off 3-4. It could happen. The Bears still have a top-level defense. They got to get this right. They won 12 games last year. They got to figure this out, right? Keep telling yourself that. But the reality is staring you smack dab in the face. The season was over last Sunday. And what you saw this Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles should only cement that in your mind. It's just like trying to talk to people that somehow, some way believe that Mitchell Trubisky isn't a bust. How much more evidence do you need to see? How much more do you have to have it smack you in the face in order to understand that he is shit? This season is shit. And ding dong, dumb dicks, it's over! Now you would think for a team that is 3-4, going on the road to face the team that ultimately benefited from the double boink and eliminated them from the playoffs last year in the Philadelphia Eagles, you would think the Bears would come out of the gates inspired and motivated and playing their tails off. And none of that happened. What you largely saw in the first half was a highly ineffective, inefficient Bears offense that was negative in the yardage category at halftime. Excuse me while I gag myself. And then a Bears defense that, try as they might, wasn't getting the job done either. And then the multiple times the Eagles just marched the ball down the field, down their damn throats. And you turn around and look, and the Eagles are up, what, 19-0 at halftime? You let Jordan Howard get a bit of a revenge on you in his revenge game against you. Sure, you contained Alshon Jeffrey, but you let Zach Ertz have a big damn game. And looking at this game at halftime, like I think Dan Orlovsky tweeted it, and it was so appropriate. Does Matt Nagy go back to his quarterback, stick with his quarterback, and as a result potentially lose the team? Or does he sit his quarterback, lose his quarterback, and potentially save his team and keep his team? Well, we all saw the answer, and ultimately, as is so often the case here in 2019, Matt Nagy rolled snake eyes. He wrong! And when you look at this game, this was a 3-phases loss. It is easy to just blame Mitch, because he sucks. He didn't even complete 50% of his passes in this game. He was god-awful. What was he in the first half? Like 4 of 7 or 4 of whatever the fuck for 12 damn yards? It's Dude was the number 2 overall pick in the 2017 draft. And he somehow is worse now than he was as a rookie under Donald Hawkins and John Fox. But it's so often the case, as easy as it is to blame him, because he sucks. His head coach / offensive coordinator / idiotic play caller does him no favors, and Matt Nagy, seriously, this dude was the coach of the year last year. We all now truly understand how much of a fraud that was. The gameplay and the design, what the hell is the point? What are you doing? What type of rhythm are you trying to establish? What are you doing? What's your identity? You don't have one! In the first half, I don't even know what the hell you would call that. Nothing different from what we've seen the first freaking 7 games of the damn season. Nothing to mix it up. No gimmicks, no variety, no spice, no anything. Just go out there, first down, second down, third down, punt. First down, second down, third down, punt. Hey, 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 it's the Nagy song. First down, second down, third down, punt. First down, second down, third down, punt. And that's basically all the hell it was in the first half. Wouldn't you know in the second half, when you try to get the ball in David Montgomery's hands, some actually decent things happen. And even what's so bad about this is you look at when even Trubisky made good plays. Taylor Gabriel was wide freaking open down the field. And even Trubisky hit him with an off-the-mark throw that if he hits him in stride, it's an easy touchdown. Instead, Gabriel has to slow down to catch it because Trubisky sucks. And then you look at the other big play that he had to David Montgomery. Montgomery over the middle of the field, wide freaking open. And as the Trubisky stands will say, he was dropping dimes. Well, FDR don't want nothing to do with you because them dimes are just pennies in disguise. Even David Montgomery, wide freaking open. It's settle the hell down and put the throw on the money. And instead, David Montgomery has to adjust and catch it behind him. The fact that the Bears even got back into this game was a fluke. The fact that the Bears made the Eagles secondary in the first half look stellar is an abomination. But the performance we saw out of that Eagles defense in the second half was also an abomination and a joke. How the hell do you let the Bears even get back into this game? You let Trubisky do anything at all on you? The hell is wrong with you? And of course, when we talk about the total 3 phases loss here, you look specifically at the defense. And you can make the excuses for the defense, saying, well, the offense doesn't do shit. They're on the field all the time. No, you know what? Screw that. Bottom line is, get the damn job done. You've invested a lot on that side of the ball. These are the types of games that they're supposed to step up and dominate, and yet again, they fail to do so. Tired of people making excuses for the poor play and stretches of this defense this year. It's felt eerily reminiscent to the damn Raiders game in London. And then, of course, when the Bears somehow magically have gotten themselves into a position where if they get a big defensive stop, they have plenty of time. For God's sakes, they might be able to win this game on the road that they have absolutely no business doing. Here's the Bears defense getting their shit pushed in for 7 or 8 minutes late in the fourth quarter as the Eagles run down the damn clock. And that third phase, special teams, how about at the end of the game? Eagles up 22-14. You get the ball back, who knows what could happen? But of course, the Eagles kick it off short and form a second-round pick, and now also bust for sure Adam Shaheen sits there and he muffs the damn recovery. He muffs the kickoff. Eagles recover. Game over. So the Chicago Bears, who were once 3-1, have now lost 4 games in a row. How much more must you see, Nagy? out of Trubisky to realize he ain't that dude, and he's not your dude. And that doesn't mean that Chase Daniel is a whole lot better, I'll grant you that. But at some point in time, you're going to lose that entire team, that freaking locker room, if you allow your quarterback, your fifth-rate quarterback, to continue to go out there and stink and join up. Why in the hell would anybody else feel the pressure or need to perform at a high level? Because if the quarterback, the guy at the most important position on the field, can't play worth a crap, and yet you continue to keep him in, why would anybody else be bothered to care? 3-5. Again, I emphasize, if you didn't think this season was over last week, which for unbeknownst reasons to me, there were people that still thought the Bears had a chance, what do you got to say now? The way this crap is heading, this team might not win another damn game this year. And if you're a Raiders fan right now, you got to be living it up. And you know what? Frankly, coming from a Bears fan, you should live it up. As myself and many others talked all types of trash about you last year. And last year, the Khalil Mack trade looked really, really good. And now 1 year later, how quickly the tables turned in the National Football League. Your team is thinking about the playoffs. Our team is thinking about what the fuck you going to do at quarterback in 2020 because Trubisky clearly isn't the guy. You're giving us our receipts and we deserve them. If you have any hope or aspirations to want to try to do something this season, then you cannot trot out Trubisky for another start. He is garbage. He plays scared. And once a quarterback has no confidence, he has no shot. And your team has no shot. The Bears must realize just how bad this guy is. And I think Nagy does, but I also think he's not willing to totally admit it. Sometimes plans go awry, and they don't go the way you want them to go. And sometimes you've got to adjust. And you got to make do with what you got and make the best out of that situation. And Nagy's not even doing that. And when you think about this game and you think about this team, like if you start to really break this down, like this is a house of cards that is crumbling down quickly. Trubisky, the number 2 overall pick in 2017, that was taken ahead of Mahomes and Watson, that the Bears traded up and gave up multiple picks to move up from 3 to 2 to get, is a bust. 2016 first-round pick Leonard Floyd has been a disappointment. 2015 first-round pick Kevin White was a bust. And when you look at this 2017 draft class especially, where's the impact? Trubisky, bust. Second-round pick Adam Shaheen, bust. Fourth-round pick Tariq Cohen. Where the hell's he been this year? He's been shit by comparison to 2018 and 2017. And Eddie Jackson, you can say the same damn thing. Hello, you're supposed to be all pro. Where the hell are you? They're getting absolutely nothing out of the 2017 draft class right now. The 2016 draft class, the first-round pick, has been at least a mild disappointment to a somewhat significant disappointment. And they got nothing out of that first-round pick in 2015. So when you look at this Bears team right now, your quarterback of the future is your quarterback no longer. Your head coach, who was the coach of the year last year, is being exposed for the fraud that he is. And your general manager, this guru, this mastermind, you're starting to see how quickly his drafts are falling apart, and his roster construction is falling apart too. This continues. Massive wholesale changes need to happen in this Bears organization this offseason. That's quarterback's got to be gone, the head coach has got to be gone, and the general manager's got to be gone. Because you took a team that was 12-4, won the division, made the playoffs last year, and turned them into this! And it all starts with picking the wrong quarterback. That's on Ryan Pace. That quarterback sucking, that's on Trubisky. And in part, that's on the head coach, who was also hired by Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. Get rid of them all! Because this season is toast.